只需要就是我们能稳扎，然后到决赛，然后在决赛再重拳出击。
Поэтому, надеюсь, наша строчка будет как можно более высокой. Благодаря тому, что мы просто будем хорошо играть и найдем tот самый поток.
650 civarı toplayacağımızı düşünüyorum.
He isn't brave enough to take the fight. He isn't brave enough to go for the knock. He resets. Ilin is back alive. Goes to top. Goes to the first diver. Is Ilin now roaches heading in further forward. They heal back up.
在经历了2天的淘汰赛之后，我们在队内就是进行了一些心态上的一些调整和一些转点和那种在转点上面复盘了很多，然后熟悉了各个队伍的跳点和转点位置。
其实我觉得 Super Weekend 的名次其实并不重要，我只需要就是我们能稳扎，然后到决赛，然后在决赛再重拳出击。
V getting into some gunfire right here. Oh, Udor pulling up. Buggy.
Oh, next Ruda. Already down 2 men. That's not looking good. Nihab as well falls down. Fedor in the clothesline, taking a lot of damage. He's not going to be able to withstand that one. He also falls down. Now next Ruda left with only one last man alive. And Frozen is all the way in the middle of nowhere. He's running. He's on a run. He doesn't want to fight against Navi. It's understandable. He wants to play things a little safe.
That zone again, White moves up towards the north. This is nice game to lose when it comes to entering in his zone quickly. Quickly go for the punish to find Kitsune. That's the knocks that we were looking for in the edge of zone that they're going in for. But can they translate that into the kills?
That's what I'm looking for. And so far it seems like they will be able to. Navi's already down and bleeding.
Первые 2 дня были не совсем удачные, но мы понимали, что нужно будет адаптироваться прямо по ходу турнира, потому что есть команды из американского региона, с которыми мы вообще не играли ни разу. И это просто будет планомерная работа, в ходе которой мы научимся играть в таких ситуациях, в таких играх с такими командами и будем вновь показывать лучший результат. Наша главная цель к финалам — это просто найти свою игру, чтобы показать всю свою мощь, весь наш потенциал уже непосредственно в этапе, который действительно многое значит, который будет гарантировать проход на чемпионат мира, финал чемпионата мира. Поэтому, надеюсь, наша строчка будет как можно более высокой, благодаря тому, что мы просто будем хорошо играть и найдем тот самый поток.
Knows Golden probably looking for this pickup, probably looking for this revive. I don't think it's going to be possible. Golden needs to make sure to be locked and loaded, ready to take this engagement. Style is going to be pushing with the UMP. Go for that straight out about.
Turnuva başlamadan önce 600 puanı bulur muyuz diye tartışıyorduk aramızda arkadaşlarla. 650 civarı toplayacağımızı düşünüyorum. Merhabalar, ben SPG'den Saylas. 10 maçın şu 2 gün üzerinde 10 maçın 7'sini falan win almayı düşünüyorduk ama sadece 4'ü nasip olabildi. Bazı maçlar zaten sattık. Bombayı falan filan olsun. Ya bunları çalıştık, tabii ki de bekliyorduk her şeyi. Yani hiç şaşırmadık. Normal hedeflerimize doğru ilerliyoruz.
Or at least they will have a little bit of chance to try and come up on top. But over here, look at the highlights from the past. This is how things really look like. Oh no!
Furious Gaming, I think the real winner here is going to watch.
Through the game, SNS Dugan machine was taken out. And look at this rise! They're just always on that aggressive foot, man. Sometimes you gotta hold your horses, Rise.
Nope.
Is now
Oh, he slips down. No!
Coming in right, it takes the zone. Oh no, he slips again. He's trying to survive. He's barely got some form of survival going on. Don't slip again, please. No, Trigger. You feel it. It's like an action movie in Hollywood. He couldn't use map rules. It's got to change right now. They're getting lit up and monkey inside of that blue zone. It's not working out for.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East, you have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
Hello and welcome everybody to PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 West League. We're officially at our very last Super Weekend 3. And this is where, of course, all of the points matter to get into the top 16 to make it to the finals. I'm your host, Spancargo, and with me today is Zute and Glitter Explosion. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling ecstatic. It's especially it being the last Super Weekend. There's so much to watch out for, especially in terms of, who's going to make it to the finals. I think this is going to be the best week out of all of them, Span.
Ooh. Amazing, Glitter. Yeah, how are you feeling? Last Super Weekend.
I'm ready. I think a lot of teams had to fight tooth and nail to make it into this last Super Weekend, and so now there are quite a few squads where this is their last opportunity to get themselves into those finals. So I expect these games to be really good.
I'm glad you brought that up because speaking about tooth and nail, just really quickly, they made it from this last weekday games into this very last super weekend where they have to make it into the top 16 to make it into the league finals. And Glitter, there's one team that this is their first super weekend. They did in fact fight tooth and nail to get here, but they're starting off at 0 points to try and get into these finals.
Except, okay? Listen, they finally had a solid week of league play, and now they need to turn it up yet again for this super weekend. We've seen teams come in with only one super weekend under their belt and get enough points that they put themselves in the middle of the entire pack. So if Exit can have a performance like that, which they're totally capable of doing, don't count them out yet.
Ooh, okay. And just to go on ahead and talk about the teams that also didn't make it in the Super Weekend, I'm just going to say it really quickly. It's Team Queso, Ghost Gaming, Black Dragons, and Na'Vi. Those 4 teams are not going to be on our Super Weekend. Instead, it's going to be these guys, as you see here up on our screen. These 16 teams are going to make it. That kind of begs the question, Zute, is there a chance that these teams that are now here towards the bottom or for the first time, such as Exet, be able to catch up to these teams that didn't make it this last time?
I'd have to go with a hard disagree with what Glitter's saying. Like, I support NA for sure, but Glitter mentioned Exit had a solid regular week to qualify in. I'm taking a look at the scores. They came in qualifying at 12th place, all right? And this being their first and only super weekend, I needed to see them like come first place overall in the league to carry that momentum huge into the super weekend. Otherwise, like I highly doubt they're going to qualify in. I mean, I did some quick point calculations just roughly. I'm thinking they need to average like around 12 points a game.
Ooh.
So, highly doubt. I wouldn't bet my money on Exet.
Ouch, that 12 points per match, that is a lot, because I believe the last time we spoke about how many average points per game, Zute, you said like 6. So doubling that to 12, that seems pretty difficult to go on ahead and achieve. But Glitter's right. We did see a team going ahead and absolutely knock it out of the park, but that was last Super Weekend. That was only the second Super Weekend. Coming into this third one, we know that our team currently in that bottom place position has 98, so they already... Oh no, actually 84, but still that's 84 points that they have to make up already before that they can go ahead and achieve to get into the top 16.
Exactly, and look at, this is, okay, perfect, since we're on this topic. Yeah, you see Exit starting off with a big fat 0, and the thing is, yeah, they need 84 points to catch up, but that team in of itself is also playing this super weekend. So every single point that they get per game, Exit has to match that, plus cover the 84 points, or maybe they're looking to pass up Mad Bulls, which is 98 points, one ahead, Eastern Stars 114, and even if they beat Baluk out, they're not in the top 16. You see, at that 16th place spot, it starts off at 114. So Exit's just got a huge hill to climb. Glitter, I know you believe in them, and I've seen greatness out of Exit, but I don't think it's gonna happen, Glitter.
That's fine. All I said was that they are capable of doing it. Whether or not they do it, it remains to be seen. They have the skills. They have the experience to do so. It depends entirely on them whether or not they're able to get it together. But as we see here, the head-to-head for our current heavy hitters, A7, S2G, average total elims, very, very similar across the board, as is the average total damage. Even those percentages down there at the bottom, we're probably going to see them battling back and forth quite a bit here in our final super weekend, and even more so once we get into finals. And now we've got a head-to-head here with some of our strongest players we've seen so far. Obviously, that means we've got our man Coops up here from the Knights up against Mythic, who had a phenomenal week 3 for our league play portion. I mean, we've seen so many players step up to the plate, but somehow Coops always manages to be in those top spots.
He's just absolutely insane. And I'd like to point out as well that keeping track of the MVPs for each match and up here in these graphics is important, because there are in fact bounties that MVP players can go on ahead and basically pick up, or players can go on ahead and grab based off of what they achieve throughout all of these matches. So keeping an eye on that could go on ahead and give us a hint for something later on. Coops, he shows up every single time, I swear, on that board. Yeah, Zute, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Not only that, yesterday I was playing in a PUBG Mobile live event, right? I think it was the holiday giveaways, and Koops was playing in those, and Koops literally won every single match. First, it started off as a 2v2 tourney between me and Xenox. We had HH and Hot Jukes, who's one of the casters here, and Koops was teamed up with the content creator Rolex. It was like a 2v2 TDM tournament. Koops won all the matches, and then we had 2 just regular games, right? Just regular. We had a payload game. There's so many different modes, by the way, in PUBG Mobile, but we played these different games, and then Koops won all of them too. And he's won so many other tournaments, and it's surprising, but at this point, not surprising that he's in the lead for that MVP title.
Well, we'll go ahead and have to wait and see just how many bounties he's going to be able to pick up. But another bounty that you guys can go ahead and grab for yourself as well is the 1+9 or 9 Pro, because with flagship performance and an immersive 120 Hz display and hypertext technology made specifically for gamers, the 1+9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to go ahead and climb that leaderboard. But now, kind of rolling out of that, let's go just straight into predictions. We already saw our map rotations, right? We have the usual Super Weekend rotations: Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Sanhok, Erangel. So the very first Erangel, reminder, this is going to be the same 16 teams all of these games today. Who's going to take this first one? Let's start with you, Glitter.
Listen, we just talked about him, and I think that they have a very real chance to start off this weekend very strong. So we're starting with Knights, okay? I think Koops is gonna have a strong day one here in our Super Weekend. I think Knights in general, this is their last Super Weekend to really represent NA. So I've got my eyes on Knights this time around.
Awesome. Zute, do you have the same thoughts, or choosing someone else?
This is going to be a little bit controversial, but I was ragging on them earlier. I'm going to pick Xset for this one, just because if they're going to qualify, I feel like they need the chicken dinner in the very first game today. So I was dogging on them a little bit, but I'm going to give this one to Xset and just hope they, pull out a miracle and start off extremely strong in the very first game of the Super Weekend.
Setting out positive vibes from the beginning. I mean, they'll definitely go ahead and need it. Now for me, I'm actually going to go ahead and go with S2G, because last week we ended up seeing them end up kind of trying different stuff. We did see them still going ahead and win at least a handful of games when they were able to, but we were kind of hypothesizing that they'd be kind of coming back right before finals. So this is the last Super Weekend. This is their time to come back. So I'm just going strong with S2G. So those are our picks. We're about to be going on to Erangel. Is there anything else specifically that we want to go ahead and discuss before jumping into the game?
Alpha 7, first place overall out of all the Super Weekends. I think that's a big one that Alpha 7's personally looking for to accomplish. Like, they've gotten first place in every tournament leading up to this. They've secured every title. Now, there's no special prize, of course. The money comes in later on in the finals, but still, Alpha 7, they want those bragging rights, and they're in a good spot to get first place overall for all the Super Weekends. So I'm looking out for that as well, on top of who's qualifying into the finals. What about you, Glitter?
Yeah, I think I'm going almost the opposite end of the spectrum from you, because I'm keeping my eyes on the Xsets, on the Mad Bulls, on the Baluk Chaptans, who are squads that are not in that top 16 right now, but are in this last Super Weekend. I'm going to be watching their point progression, seeing if they're able to overtake any of those teams that are above them. How strong is their last Super Weekend performance? Because, like you're saying, there's no money on the line right now for these top 16, but that top 16 is what gets you into the money in our finals. That's what's important.
It'll be interesting to see as well who's going to be soaking up the points, as you said, Glitter, because obviously for those at the bottom, they're going to want those top teams to keep just going on ahead and soaking up points. It's the middle teams that are going to be wanting to not be performing well whatsoever. It's a little bit helpful, I guess you can say, that 3 of the teams towards that middle portion aren't inside of this Super Weekend, but the teams right above that, right above them, it's going to be pretty difficult. They're going to hope that those top teams are just going to keep soaking up those points. So is there anything in particular that you think that these guys are going to be going for since they're at the bottom, or is it just play as normal, Zute?
That's a really good question. I think teams near the bottom, most likely for the first day and probably the second day, they're just going to play their game. They need the points, right? They need to just focus on their own gameplay. But we'll see some interesting, maybe hot drops, maybe, you know, camping some teams' rotation coming into day number 3. All of these teams definitely have the capabilities to do that with VOD review and etc. And they're very experienced teams. But for today, I almost feel like it's going to be kind of normal with the way these teams play and with their strategy and rotations.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be the exact way it plays out, because even just considering what we saw in league play, right? We had the teams that needed to get points. They were playing the way that they were comfortable all the way up until I think even like the halfway point really of the second day of league play. But then even just going into that very last game of league play, we saw Na'Vi and Black Dragons, those squads that were at the bottom, that were in danger of staying out of that top 16, specifically getting hot dropped by squads to keep them out of that top 16. And so I completely agree with Zute on that one. I think day 3 is when we might start getting that last ditch desperation chaos from some of the squads that have to get whatever points they can get on the board.
But for right now, it's business as usual. So that'll be interesting to see the dynamics that end up coming out, though, still, since it is just these 16 teams going into these 5 matches for today. Kind of curious to see how they're going to be performing. Very last thing that I kind of want to end off before jumping on into this. Zute, you know, you play yourself, of course. If you were, what would you need your coach to say to you if you're towards the bottom of this leaderboard right before this first match?
Ooh. Bottom of the leaderboards last Super Weekend? Honestly, the most the coach can say at this point is just like, you guys got this, focus on your game. This is a final chance, but just go out strong and, you know, give it all you got, because I mean that's pretty much all they can do at this point, unless they, you know, prepared some special strategies, of course. But I wouldn't know about that because, you know, I'm not the coach for these teams.
Of course, special strategies. I like how you put it that way. Well, that's pretty uplifting. Glitter, did you want to add on to that, or we gonna jump in?
I'm ready to jump in. I want to get the Super Weekend started.
Okay, well, luckily we don't have to wait any longer. Let's just go ahead, jump right on into it. It's going to be our first match of this Super Weekend on Erangel, and we're tossing it to Jukes and Dave immediately.
Thank you, Spad Cargo. What's going on, everybody? Let me start off the chant, dude. Let me start the chant. Everybody in here is doing ready. Let's go, exit. Let's go, exit.
Exit.
Dude, they need everything, right? They need all the help they can get. They need to channel the power of Besiktas today in this Super Weekend, because this is it, Dave. 3 days. Yep. They got to put up some massive points. If they don't do it, it's all over. Last chance, Dave, for XN.
Well, they got 15 last chances, right? Because there's going to be 15 games here this Super Weekend. And to add to your point, that's exactly where I wanted to go. Besiktas last weekend was their first Super Weekend, and they averaged around 11 points per game. That got them on the overall leaderboard. That got them 11th place. So they popped off, they performed their hearts out, and they made a mark on that overall leaderboard. Personally, if there was another team that could reenact that Besiktas performance last Super Weekend, Jukes, I would say Xset is that team. They have the skills, man. They haven't been showing those skills here so far throughout PMGC, but now it's time. It's time for them to put up and show the world what they're made out of. They got Polo, they got Killswitch, they got Jay leading the charge. So let's see what they can acquire. How many points here this weekend?
I mean, straight up, that's a superstar roster. Oh, we're going to start off with the run over. Coops. Papi Coops catching Papi Potro. First kill of this final Super Weekend here. You know, the boy himself must be so stoked. Dude, I'm actually pretty hyped, Dave, because last night, you know, Zute was talking about it earlier. PUBG Mobile held their holiday special, which was nuts, dude. They gave away tons of iPhone 13s. They had a beautiful, you know, 200,000 UC giveaway. It was awesome, right? Well, the thing was, I got the chance to play with Coops a little bit, and
you mean against Coops?
Yeah, well, I played with him and against him. Okay, all right.
Okay.
When I played against him, dude, I decided I didn't want to make him look bad, you know, because he's a superstar, right? The man is a superstar in the North American community. I didn't want to make him look bad, so I took it easy on him. But when I played with him, dude, right? I got the chance. He said, you know, bro, UIGL, and I'll just play. I'll just do what I do. And this dude got a ton of kills, executed to perfection. I know, dude, just getting the chance to witness this guy's playstyle firsthand was insane. Absolutely insane. So at the end of the day, I know this guy's pumped up. He's ready to go. He had a lot of laughs last night, and it looks like he's starting off this super weekend with the last laugh on Papi Potro. Oh, dude, the guy didn't even see it coming, Dave.
Didn't even see it coming. I'm actually surprised you and Zute both kind of brought that up, because when I was watching that, you two got mopped up real quick by Poppy Coops. But we'll get back to that here, because Xset looked like Killswitch called in the reinforcements. Killswitch was pinned down. Nox Bomb now stuck in a 2v1 with the spray down right there. And look at this. Straight out the gate, this is exactly what Xset need. 1 kill point to start their super weekend. Jukes, I'm getting pumped up, man. This is what I want to see. The teamwork, the communication, not leaving Killswitch to fend for themselves, immediately piling in that US and providing that support. But back to your story. I'm surprised you and Zute brought up, because I was watching and y'all got mopped up. I have to call you out. You took out the pan during the TDM when the score was like 10-20. Dude, okay. What happened? What really happened?
Did you not just hear me earlier? You didn't hear me earlier, Dave?
What?
You know?
What?
I said,
okay, when you played with
Coops
Coops, you got the medic role. He's a superstar. You didn't want to what? You didn't want what?
I didn't want to make him look bad.
Okay.
Look at that. A limb milestone reached on the bottom? Scripted.
Scripted. So this is important, because we are giving out Gunslinger awards, Grenade Master, Eagle Eye, Survivor, and Medic. So pretty sure with that right there, the Gunslinger award, highest average number of kills plus damage plus headshots. Now that's going to count everything here in PMGC West, but you have to assume Coops will be up there at the top. But as we have kind of a lull in the moment here, keep telling me about how you got mopped up in that TDM against Coops. I'll love to hear this.
It was good. It felt good, man. You know, it felt good. You know, to hold some angles. You know, get it done, and just have fun. You know, just have fun. By the way, I will put the asterisk. I did happen to be wearing a reindeer head. You know, because it is Christmas, and it was on brand. So, you know, seeing out that thing was a little bit difficult. But we got some kills. You know, we got to have a little bit of fun, but.
Dude, I think what happened is you saw you going up against Coops and you already needed an excuse card pre-game. And that's it right there. We talk about
not
the
it
excuse
at all,
card.
Dave.
We talk about the punch card here all year long, Jukes. You punched that card by wearing the reindeer hat going up against Coops. I'm telling you, man. Am I exposing you right now?
Well, let's put it this way. You just saw Mythic pass that painting on the wall, right? Of that player unknown, right? I have the same thing in my office here, but it's got Coops on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Okay. I get it.
When it comes to Coops, you know, we gotta keep the guy in the limelight. So it's all fine. It's all fine. I want to handicap myself just to make sure that, you know, because sometimes I'm competitive, Dave. You know, when I get into it,
you are. I know.
I all of a sudden I just, you know, I just gotta go crazy. But you know, I said, you know what? They put this on to kind of like hold me back a little bit, which was fine. All fine, Eddie. That was last night. We're here now.
Yeah.
You know, we're here
I
now.
had my popcorn. I'm just saying. I was cheering for you. I was in the chat. Let's go, Hot Jukes. Zute was hitting hot drops, or not hot drops, drop shots, by the way. I was like, ooh, still got it. But yeah, I was rooting for you, Hot Jukes. And it was fun. Make sure you guys go watch that VOD. And I just love to get a behind the scenes with the competitive pro players and the creators. So it's all about pushing PUBG Mobile forward, and of course for the holidays. So it was a nice experience as a viewer, and Hot Jukes, Zute, you guys did participate in, and shout out to you guys, some legends out here. I'm gonna say, Hot Jukes. So thank you for being on that show, man.
Oh man, dude, thank you. Thank PUBG Mobile, dude, for putting that together, as well as putting this together. We get the chance to see the best of the best in this side of the planet go at it. And it has just been a blast to be able to watch, cast this entire tournament. The reason why we're talking about this is because it's still early game. You know, these guys are so intense right now because everything is on the line for so many of these squads. They don't want to make any mistakes, especially here on the first day. So, you know, everyone's just scouting, looking for intel. Cardi Looks like he caught a couple players from Fenerbahce. I don't believe after that knock they're gonna send it. Yeah. Oh, maybe. Ask the little U-turn in that buggy. The question mark. No. Yeah. So they're gonna go ahead and hang at this spot and hold it for now, and wait to get some intel and figure out where they're gonna go in the next circle shift.
We're also talking about it because Koops and Xenox, they had some little interviews, and I didn't know this, but from like the very beginning, they planned on playing together. Like that was always their game plan, and now they're here executing that game plan at the highest level of competition. Talk about setting some goals here, Hot Jukes. These two fellas setting them goals, and they're making it happen. And I gotta say, at least when we look at North America as a whole, they have to be two of the strongest duos, like that duo in the scene, right? Like they got the communication, they got the synergy, they have the mechanical gun skills to match it. Honestly, I don't see anything stopping these two dudes moving forward, because every single game they play in, they're just gathering more experience and
Oh, nice shot there from Nunez. Dude, I think you're totally right. When it comes to Xenox and Koops, I think that they now hold the title of the best duo in North America together. I mean, they're such a strong two players. You know, I think the title before was held by HH24 and Tensa. I still think that those guys are top 3 when it comes to NA. You know, but I think Papa Koops and Xenox have taken that role, because, man, I got the chance to play with Xenox the other day. That guy, in my opinion, is the best CQC player on the planet right now. You know, if not in North America, for sure, possibly the whole planet. This dude's insane in the CQC.
And then Stone Cold Xenox. Stone Cold Xenox.
And then Koops, I think, is probably one of the best all-around players, you know, in NA. So you have that little combination working together. That's a deadly one. Speaking of deadly, S2G, oh my goodness. Just wiping the floor with Nexruya. Yeah, Vecta's gonna have to hit that first aid, but I think it's only a matter of time at this point. They're gonna go ahead and hop in that vehicle, possibly going for a run over. Instead, just looking for that distraction as Timber comes from the top. Little 2-2 split off angles. Dude never stood a chance.
Boom. Right there. And just to kind of put the cherry on top, Xenox Koops, they had this plan since day one when they started playing PUBG Mobile. That's
those love at first sight, Dave.
Yeah, that's what's even more impressive. It took them some time to come together and finally compete on the same team, but this was always their plan. So it amazes me, Hot Jukes. But getting back into the action here on what needs to amaze me, Killswitch, Exit. You know, they got 1 elim point so far. We're really looking for this team out of all the teams to truly pop off, because Team Queso, done, not playing, no Super Weekends. Ghost, Black Dragons, and Na'Vi, those 3 teams are not playing in this Super Weekend, but they have a nice point lead within that overall league standings that if there was going to be a team to get bumped out, it would be Black Dragons at 10th place at 186. But that is not until like day 3 when we'll start to get a better understanding on whether or not the teams will get bumped out or not. So really, one of the main stories that we're going to be following here, Exet, 0 points. Can they get enough points to get into that 16th position? That is what a lot of people are going to be watching here in the next 15 games. So there's a lot of pressure riding on Exet's back right now, Hot Jukes.
Dude, absolutely. And speaking of that, Dave, you know, I'm going to pull out Stats Dave here for a second because yesterday, right, we got, or it was the day before yesterday, got a nice little tweet from
not Jeff.
A man named hold on, sorry.
Not Jeff.
That's right. Why my name Jeff on Twitter, right? He actually made a little algorithm, a little spreadsheet. I'm all about spreadsheets, and I know you, Stats Dave, even more about it, right? Trying to make a prediction of how many points Exet needs. So after you looked at that data from Why My Name Jeff, right? How many points does Exet need every single game here, do you think, in order to qualify?
Well, I think Zute kind of nailed this on the head, also kind of referencing Not Jeff's stats. I said to Not Jeff, hey, if you're right, we're going to call you Jeff from now on, by the way, and he was cracking up. But Zute mentioned somewhere around 12 points per game. Now, that is average. right? So that means they can get, what, 2 chicken dinners in a row, get a 0-point game, and we take the average of that. So on average, out of all the next 15 games, we're looking to get around 12 points per game. Because you also have to consider SMB, Eastern Stars, Aton playing this super weekend. So they're not only chasing down that top 16, but they're also chasing down those 3 teams ahead of them.
Man, it's so crazy to even think, because you got to think about it. 12 points a game. If you have 1 goose egg
average
out of all these 15 games, like, could you? That's gonna just make it so difficult for you. So XSET literally need to pop off constantly. And the reason why we're on this storyline, you know, for all those people, the probably
it's
people
the
in
main
chat
one.
yelling bias, you know, the reason why is because there's so many teams already gonna qualify. We know for a fact they're gonna, you know, and the prize pool's coming up next. So the story is definitely gonna be on those teams that are on the cusp of either making it or not. It's a big story.
It has to be, yeah, one of the main ones. And, you know, the only reason I truly believe that they can do it, Hot Jukes, and I talked about it, I think, during the league play, is because of the simple fact that Besiktas did just that. They popped off, and they only played 1 super weekend. So we'll see as Asta, ooh, out here from Aton. Nice little grenade. I believe that grenade was able to get right through that little window of the shack, which is very difficult. And then above the shack to get a nice little amount of damage onto Octavian. Asta is just hitting these nades right now.
This is a ridiculously difficult nade to hit, especially on top of this mountain, because it has to be cooked and thrown perfectly. Any further, and it's going down the mountain. Oh, he almost got knocked out from going down from fall damage. Beautiful support play from Bazi on that edge to be able to help out the Eastern Stars and buy a little bit more time. That's going to allow them to get a full reset and possibly turn the tides onto the Aton. Beautiful nade, getting that confirmed. And now, just like that, the shift. Now Aton are on their heels and running away. Eastern Stars with a beautiful defense here.
Yeah, definitely feel like Aton had the advantage there, right? They had the initial knock with the grenade and then even the follow-up damage onto Octavian. And I think just the split second to not make that push really bit them in the butt. And then we saw the last-ditch effort for them to pop in the buggy and retreat. I feel like they got to be a little more aggressive, a little more confident in their gameplay, and they might have came out on top of that one. And now, look at this though. Eastern Stars currently getting third-partied by Unicorns 11, even fourth-partied on the opposite end by Access. So they're in a tight pickle.
Tight pickle indeed, Dave. You know, and speaking of that, you know, here comes the Unicorns of Love, just applying the pressure. Eastern Stars just got out of it, and now they're stuck right back into where they came from, and there they go, eliminated in 15th place. At least they were able to take a couple kills with them, but it looks like 3 will be the amount of points they're getting into this game. Next circle going on up.
What does XSET
looking
do,
at the
though?
bottom.
What does XSET do?
XSET very, very close to Unicorns of Love. They have to get this ejection. Yeah, and the Unicorns of Love, I think, are going to completely dip from this. XSET was possibly trying a third party just a little bit too late. And yeah, Unicorns of Love, they recognize the situation. Let's just take the money and run. You know, get those points and get out of here.
Yeah, which is kind of a surprise because on the overall leaderboard, Unicorns of Love are way at the top, so they can definitely afford to play a little riskier here, especially early on the super weekend. So Unicorns of Love, they had a nice smoke wall that allowed them to get that loot for free. They knew there was a team on the opposite end from the previous fight. They recognized there was that third-party potential, but that smoke wall was beautiful and it allowed them to get in and get out.
Yeah, I think that Unicorns of Love, they definitely can, right? They can kind of do whatever they want at this point. But I think that at this point, they would decide to practice for the finals, right? When you got 300 grand on the line for first place, 300 plus, by the way, not just 300, you know? Oh, hold on real quick.
Milo's.
Nice vehicle run. Shots out the vehicle right there. Supermassive Blaze going to go down real quick to Aton. So that's going to be some much needed points on Milo's because he was the last one up. So that's going to help offset this game regardless for them. Going back to what I was talking about though, Unicorns of Love, when you have so much on the line coming up in the finals, you want to make sure your team is completely set up and ready, primed. And I think they got 6 elims so far. They want to play this match like every other one that they've done. And I think that moving away from there was the right play. But you're totally right, Dave. When are they going to recognize, hey, we can do whatever we want. Let's start getting a little bit extra aggressive. And once that happens, And I think we're going to see some more engagements like that.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely have those basics down, right? It's down packed. They have been doing a phenomenal job here in this lobby. So I would like to see Unicorns of Love try a little bit of different plays, maybe different tactics, strategies here and there, out of their comfort zone, just to kind of practice, just in case they are forced in these really tight situations during the finals. But over here, we got the Knights on the edge, currently taking some shots at Furious and A7 on the outskirts. But look at this, Jay, with the M16 love tap right there.
There we go. That's huge. Exit getting some much-needed points. On to Unicorns of Love. Jay actually got head dinked right there, so that's going to kind of apply a little bit of pressure onto Exit. But they got to continue with this. They have to follow through. Jay on that off angle cannot get knocked. That is a crucial location. Exit have to press the issue on the Unicorns of Love right now.
Oh, that the blue zone doesn't do much damage, but it does just enough damage. And yeah, that's why I was mentioning that, because Jay pulled up with half HP in that situation, so that definitely did not help him. And to your point, you have to assume that revive on Jay is not going to be possible now with the current situation that Exet are in. They are pinned down.
Wow, Alpha 7 go down right there. Coops ended up catching Carrillo, and then the rest of Rise were able to mop up the rest of Alpha 7 for now. But I'll tell you what, Alpha 7 can definitely do whatever they want in this lobby. Yeah, I would definitely not try to poke the bear.
Don't want to poke the bear, as looks like Exit trying to poke the bear, aka the Unicorn out here. Ooh, yeah. Now it's up to Kill Switch, the last one alive, getting that spray down with the Scar. Can Kill Switch get this 1v1? Back and forth with the UMP, but then taken out. 12th place. They did get a couple elim points, which will help keep them afloat, but the 12th place, only 1 placement point. So not the start Exit we're looking to have here today, but they still have 14 more games to go.
Oh, but I mean, already just seeing that is crushing for Exit fans, because that's 3 points in total. You said it yourself, Dave. They need like, what, 13? So
like 11 or 12 on average.
Yeah, 11 on 12 on average, right? Well, that average is going to go higher for the rest of the games here, the rest of the 14 matches. So, we'll see how they're going to do. Elian, what's it out there? 2-4. Getting a beautiful snipe onto Besiktas there. And now they're going to keep, that's a good opening knock. I mean, at the end of the day, they are in a horrible position. Elian is completely stuck out, but those kind of shots open the door just a little bit, give you a little bit of breathing room. We may see him go down regardless, but I love to see those kind of clutch shots. That's hype.
Talk about clutch. Look at the spread right now from Footballlist, trying to dominate the northern end of the circle. Solke in the vehicle making the push up, but over here the Knights in a grenade battle with Furious.
And here come the Knights. They're applying a ton of pressure here. And you can just see them pushing up full into it. Xenox getting up in the up close, and the 1v2 situation goes down. Furious Gaming are going to get the confirm to confirm that point. Oh, this may be a beautiful nade from Chico. It looks good.
Oh,
and it is.
Baby.
And it look. I thought for a second it was to do the vehicle. And oh, Alucard full sends it on in. Chico's going to have to hold that nade for now. And then down goes Venerbache in 8th place. 7 squads remaining.
When we talk about confidence, that play right there from the Knights is the definition of confidence. We saw Alucard pop in the buggy, no fear. Knew that his squad mates had his back. Just drove to that smoke to that quick little donut, boom, run over. Talking about runovers, a lot of teams actually going to be implementing these vehicle runover strategies here to open up the engagement or finish it, as Rise doing just that with Footballlist.
Rise have been nothing but rising stars, in my opinion. Mufasa with a great shot. This has to be probably one of my favorite new teams looking at it. You know, Gary, the legend himself, dude. That guy is awesome. I'm going to put a painting of him on my wall. You know, he has pulled up some crazy plays this tournament, Dave.
Yeah, I got a picture of Gary already riding a horse.
Gary?
So, yep, painted. Pastel. Mufasa in the field, though. Gary overlooking Mufasa. S2G in this little compound, little building right ahead. We see them popping in vehicles trying to get those sight lines. They might have a indicator that Mufasa is near. Mufasa crawling up, tossing a grenade. Okay, if S2G weren't aware before, now they are.
Yeah, those nades are really good because it doesn't really give away your position. You know, those shots will do that instantly. But now I love how Mufasa's throwing much more offensive smokes to eliminate their sight lines rather than just smoking himself. That's a very, very good play there.
And S2G pretty much the only team with any type of compound cover too in this zone. So if Raz can overthrow
Look
them,
at that.
they'll have a nice little spot as Nunez is going to be posturing up, trying to get the attention of S2G, and Mufasa just tossing grenade after grenade.
But I'll tell you what, those smokes were even bigger because that allowed Rise to push up so far. It completely eliminated the sightlines from S2G, but they smelt Mythic coming with that beautiful return nade. Mufasa does get caught out. Now Gary, jumps over the Koenigsegg and goes down immediately. It's up to Nunez. 1v2. He's got a 1v1 situation. He wins that. One more. Oh, the pre-fire from Timber. Gonna catch out Rise. Clutch play.
Timber, definitely, we talk about Gary being a standout player. Timber has been a standout player for me from S2G, always forced in these very tight situations, these clutch moments, and they're able to come out on top. So to be able to handle the pressure like that in this lobby, very impressive.
Super impressive. Look at this. Beautiful Koenigsegg just twinkling into the sunlight here. Coops on the off angle here. All these teams are in this next circle. Mad Bulls have to do a little bit of pushing on down, but they should have enough room to be able to do so. Coops gets knocked to a nade from Ill. Unicorns, dude, this guy is doing a great job. Calcia on that off angle catches Mad Bulls. So it looks like Unicorns of Love are still making some noise here. You can see him there on the bottom right with the laydown shots, trying to catch Yin Yang from Mad Bulls.
Love the vehicle.
Oh, he's yeah, just like that, dude. Never stood a chance.
I still think this was a pretty decent game for Mad Bulls. I don't know how many elim points they had, but 4th place, that gets you 8 placement points. And Mad Bulls, they came into today 17th on the overall leaderboard. So that's a huge game for them.
Huge game for Mad Bulls. I mean, to be able to get at least that many placement points. Alucard trying to be able to catch Ill slipping here. And Ill's going to have to go right back to that rock and just hold it for a little bit longer. Top 3 squads, everybody. Here for the first match of the final Super Weekend here of the PUBG Mobile Global Championships West. Who is going to take this first dub? Dave, who you got your money on?
Looking at the position from S2G, I'm kind of favoring them just because they got the 2-1 split right here. And if Sivin can get a nice grenade onto Knights, that will just do them in because Knights so grouped up here. And then you got Lin also playing that spoiler role from the Knights. We'll see. I'm looking at S2G though. Timber on the rooftop as well, talking about sight lines. I'm talking about sight lines. Timber has got them sight lines.
Let's see what Lin can do here. Oh, that nade is so close. Almost blew up that Bucky. And Lin's gonna survive a little bit longer, but Chico finally catches up. That's a huge, huge elimination for the Knights. Now they don't have to worry about them. Now it's a fair fight between S2G, but S2G, Dave, they got 3 players. And the fourth is Papa Blue.
There's a nice grenade. There's a nice grenade right there. Let's see how S2G, will they collapse? Now that's a 3v2.
Yeah, the Knights are just on their heels trying to survive at this point. Blue zone's gonna start coming in the next few seconds, and S2G is just applying that pressure, knowing the blue zone will be creeping in from that side. And here they go. Chico's gonna have to get up and make a play. Beautiful one there from Coops. Coops may catch the second. If he does, then it'll be a 1v1. He's got to win this. Gets a point. Pre-firing, trying to catch the snake in the grass. And he needs to take him out before Timber comes, otherwise it's a 1v2. Oh, but he gets caught out. S2G taking that chicken dinner right out away from the Pittsburgh Knights. A beautiful finish for this squad. They started off the strongest, and they just continue to dominate here, Dave.
S2G looking mighty fine here in game number 1 of the final Super Weekend. Now the Knights, they were involved in the action throughout the entirety of the game as well, so hats off to them, as people in Texas like to say. Hats off to them. But we mentioned Mad Bulls top 4 situation. They did come into today's games 17th. Remember, the goal, top 16. These teams need to be top 16 in order to make to the finals. So with Mad Bulls being able to acquire that 4th place finish with those 8 placement points, that's going to help them here this weekend. Now, when we talk about teams that didn't do exactly what they planned to do, at least when we're talking points-wise, XSET, they got taken out pretty early on with, you know, the amount of pressure, I'm going to say, that is riding on the next 14 matches for them. So not the results they wanted to see here in game number 1 for sure.
Yeah, they started off really strong. You know, it looked like they were going to be a force to be reckoned with, and then just Unicorns of Love shutting them down there in that last, that first engagement that they had. But let's take a look at some of the highlights here of this match, and yeah, I think that's going to be the big thing that we're looking at. Mad Bulls getting a good, decent performance. XSET just not able to get it done in this one. Killswitch, they had some beautiful knocks, great positions there, but I think they had to play a little bit more aggressive when they had that first knock on Unicorns of Love, instead opting to extend that play, and they just got punished for it.
Yeah, and we already see in the highlights, Knights just non-stop action all game long. Alucard with the DP stand up 4 times right there. Then the final nail in the coffin onto Yin Yang, blowing up that vehicle out there. Lin, nice little grenade right there. If Lin wouldn't have hit that grenade, then I would have said, to kind of go to your point, that Knights had a really solid chance at possibly winning that game. But when we talk about the zone, they had their backs against the blue zone, and they were so grouped up that all it takes is a molly or a grenade, and that's exactly what happened to apply that additional pressure. And it just took them out. But ladies and gentlemen, that was only game number 1. We got a bunch more games to go. Let's hear what the desk had to say about that match.
Only game number 1, and gotta say, I mean, other than Mad Bulls, it was the top couple of teams that ended up getting into the end there. Coops almost winning the first team, but of course, S2G taking that win. Zute.
Dude, Coops, and he got that second knock because it happened so fast. I almost didn't catch it, but he grenaded one, instantly peeked out, got the other player in 1 HP. We had like a split camera going, 3 different POVs, and that one S2G member was 1 HP. If Coops got that down to that 1v1, he wins that like 100%. But oh, S2G, better positioning, better angles. The Knights really brought it to them though. But S2G, I think someone predicted S2G. Was it you, Span? You were talking about S2G. Yeah, congrats. So S2G getting that first win in.
I got one finally. Yeah, S2G kind of showing themselves back. I mean, Glitter was really close as well. She's the one that chose the Knights. So they're going on ahead, grabbing that second place with the 24 total points. Unicorns of Love, gotta say, they're also at the very top of the leaderboard as well. The only one that's missing from this front page, Glitter, is actually Alpha 7.
Yeah, and Alpha 7 ended up facing up against Rise, who's the 4th place team, and going down to them. So, I mean, if we're looking at the bottom of the leaderboard, though, while we're on these squads, Mad Bulls was one of those bottom teams, weren't even in the top 16 overall for Super Weekends coming into this first match, and they didn't get the level of aggression that I would have liked to see. Those elims, obviously Big Bad Zero, but they did get some decent placement points on the board, and that's a good start considering they are that 17th place team. They hadn't even broken triple digits until this game allowed them to push above that. So that's going to be good for them. But after that, Zoo, I mean, you see Atan up here with 3 points, XSET up here with 3 points. But a lot of those teams that are in 14th through 19th, with the exception of Mad Bulls, didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, so like the casters were talking about how XSET needed a huge game in order to catch up and surpass these teams. In a way, XSET is only really competing with the bottom teams, and like Glitter just pointed out, all the teams on the bottom, except for Mad Bulls, kind of dropped the ball as well. So everybody kind of collectively dropped the ball looking at that 16th place qualification spot. So XSET, in a way, kind of have another chance, so to say. It would have been huge, though, if XSET had a big game, and then all the teams that they're fighting against had a bad game. But that wasn't what happened. It's not over yet because these other teams didn't do too well, but XSET still has a huge mountain to climb. You can see on the second half of the leaderboards, 3 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 1 point. Yeah, so not many points gathered by the teams on the second half of the page. Not many points gathered by the teams 14th place and downwards.
It's a little bit surprising as well, taking a look at this, because obviously we expected different from Alpha 7. Rise, though, of course, being the ones to challenge them is definitely something we always want to see, being the little and big brother. A Supermassive Blaze, though, they had a great match coming into the league play, and they're going out first, kind of surprising. What's not surprising though is to see Coops up here once again. I mean, we've talked about it. He's always up here. Yeah, Glitter just the 5 eliminations, the 1,000 damage once again. That just seems to be the usual for him.
He is unstoppable, okay? I don't know what he eats for breakfast when he prepares for these games, but unmatched, even in games where obviously they had an incredibly strong second place finish, but they still didn't get the chicken dinner, and it's still Coops up here for the MVP. Even in games where they might even be top 6, you'll still see Coops up here. He just doesn't know how to slow down, but I think this is going to be key for Knights in this final Super Weekend, especially going into finals when everything is reset and they've got a clean slate with everybody else that makes their way through. If this is the type of performance, and we heard the casters talking about it too, it now feels like Coops and Xenox are this unstoppable duo. If they're going to continue that, then they are definitely going to be a squad to be keeping our eyes on as we see the overall rankings here. And you can see PK is not that far behind S2G now after that performance, and that's very fitting considering they were our first and second place teams here. And the ones that are grayed out are the ones that aren't playing, but Zoo, it was a pretty top-heavy match for this first one.
Oh, super top heavy. We were commenting on it while we were watching it too. It's like, wait a second, all the teams going out first are the teams near the bottom. All the teams that are near the top, well, they're staying alive. So, I mean, I think that really just goes to show there is a huge gap in terms of skill, strategy. But for now, all you need is top 16. So there's a good chance for these teams at the bottom to still make it in there. That point gap isn't all too big, minus, you know, what XSET's looking at. But there's a chance. There is still a chance. And the Knights passed up Alpha 7 too, by the way, after that last game. So the top 1 position between Unicorns of Love, Alpha 7, PK, and S2G, I think it could go to either one of them. But Rise had a big game too, that one. Maybe even Rise might be looking to get that #1 spot. I know it's not the most important focus, but it's always nice to take a look at who's #1 out of all the Super Weekend games combined.
I mean, it's a good flex. It's a good motivator. It feels nice to go on ahead and do that. Got to go on ahead and continue to hold on to that going into the finals. So that's definitely a good motivator. And I mean, we were talking about, will S2G kind of bring it back, change their strategy, stop messing around? Not messing around, but playing with strategies. And it definitely seems like they are. So wouldn't be surprised to see if all the teams are going to go ahead and obviously continue to play to their best. So that was just the first match, though. We can see here that we still have 4 games left to play. The next one, though, will be on Miramar. And Miramar, as Glitter keeps calling it, is the wildcard map. So we'll be curious to see what's going to pop up on there. We gotta go ahead and talk about another nice pop-up though. It's gonna be the treasure box. We've already started the first stage of the treasure boxes on November 30th, but they go until December 21st. It is currently 17th, so you guys have time. You can enter the in-game esports center and use these PMGC tokens to redeem them directly. For getting the token, you can either watch live on YouTube, watch live in the in-game esports center, or go ahead and get these tokens through our social media events. The second stage of the treasure box hunt, though, will start next week, so please stay tuned. There's a lot more surprises yet to come starting on the 22nd. So, but Glitter, I already said it. It's going to be the wildcard map next. Is there anything you're expecting?
I know that they just had a really bad game 1 because they had to go up against Rise, but I might be looking at A7 for this match. A little bit of a bounce back out of A7. They have started to become just as comfortable on Miramar as they are on Sanhok. I think they thrive well with all of that chaos and pressure, so I might be just Brazil in general. I might be looking at Brazil.
Looking at Brazil, so kind of same thing with Sanhok. But we're gonna go ahead and end this off here by asking you guys a question to go ahead and answer in chat, and that is, which player has had the best breakout performance? Which player has had the best one? I mean, there's a couple I think we can go on ahead and list off. Frozen with the 1v4. There's another one from his team with the 1v3. There's just Coops. There's so many answers to this one, so just go on ahead and put your answer in that chat. Otherwise, we're going to be tossing it over to a break, and we'll see you guys shortly at Miramar.
But he misses the shots to make 7. I think they'll be counting themselves alive. It's Trigger.
Oh, that's it. He did. He got it. I'm telling you, heal strat But Vegeta
2,000 years later.
boxes outside the window and try to get those heals, but you don't need it. He's gonna emote on us, baby!
Get play, set, get play, set, get play, baby! Let's go!
Clear right, what Navi, the rest. Oh no. Oh, it happened. Oh, my days.
there he
How
goes.
could you? Maintain that high result because the rest of his team is close behind him.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We were also having to talk about how H2G, at least Dave was mentioning that how H2G wants to try new things, but I'm gonna hold on to my word now because Navi, and look at this is complete humiliation.
Slice him down, but he misses the shots to make 7. I think they'll be counting themselves alive as triggers in. He's a tanker, man. He's got the sound going on. He's got every move.
Yes, 2 kills, but this will make it big for Sanhok if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information here. Yes, speeding up. What? What? He got back in! He got back in! Damn, now we're chicken dinner! What?
Welcome back to PMGC West. This is the very last Super Weekend, the first day of the last Super Weekend. We're about to be going into match 2 on Miramar. So we already had a great performance coming through from our very top teams. The Mad Bulls being able to shove themselves up there as well, but there's still a lot of points for these teams closer to the bottom to be able to go ahead and pick up. Glitter, I gotta say, you were kind of analyzing the overall leaderboard coming into this while we were watching that last match, and honestly, I liked it so much, I feel like I would just want you to say it again.
I don't even know what I said. What did I say?
Well, you were just taking a look at it, and you mentioned how, you know, Supermassive Blaze ended up doing so well in the last league play, but they're really low on the leaderboard starting today in that 15th place, so it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be able to climb up there. Meanwhile, you know, Black Dragons are going to keep falling. There's a couple of other things he ended up mentioning as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've been talking about it a little bit. As you guys see these graphics up on your screen, we've got head-to-head here from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Coops, up against S2G Kelsey, actually. So that's a nice little comparison. Some assists as well. But, I mean, I think especially as we get further into the Super Weekend, things are starting, or will start to get very, very close between, you know, 14th through 19th when it comes to these overall standings for who's going to make it into that Super Weekend. Because, and we heard Zute talk about it too in this last match, all of the squads at the bottom of the leaderboard that needed to get those points to hopefully start making some big moves didn't really do that, with the exception of Mad Bulls. And to be fair, Mad Bulls didn't get a ton. They have yet to even really break into that top 16, but it is chipping away at their points right now. So, I mean, it gives XSET a little bit of cushion if we're still keeping our eyes on them, but generally, a ton. Supermassive Blaze, Eastern Stars. Everyone needs to be a little bit scared.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a great segue, I guess, to be jumping into who we think is going to be winning this next match. Who should these guys be afraid of? This time, let's start with you, Zute.
I would say the Knights, because Coops looking super on fire. And we've, like, the Knights overall as a team have gotten way better, and it's not just... Actually, we were saying this a little bit earlier in the Super Weekends. Like, it's no longer a one-man army show where Coops is carrying the Knights. But I think it's going back to that again a little bit. Not because, you know, the team is falling behind, but because Coops is just starting to shoot into the stratosphere in terms of performance. He's just getting better and better and better. And it's like, I know you guys don't need me to put you on my back, but I'm going to put you guys on my back because I'm getting, like, every MVP, it seems like. So I got to go with the Knights for this one.
Okay. I mean, not a bad choice whatsoever. Glitter, who are you going with?
I mean, I talked about it, you know, when you asked me what to expect for Miramar, and I'm still leaning towards them, so I went with A7 this time around. I really do think they can bounce back. Miramar, I think, works for their play style, and, you know, as long as they don't run into Rise again, it'll be fine, right? It'll be completely fine.
Yeah, not a good first match for them, so they have to bring it back this second match for sure. For me, I went kind of the complete opposite direction. I actually went with Papara Supermassive Blaze because this is the team that I mean, we kept talking about them. This last league play, they did insane. I believe they ended up in the 2nd place overall for this league play. So coming into the Super Weekend, I was kind of hoping that their performance was going to increase. Again, first match kind of being a little bit difficult, but I kind of am curious to see if they'll be able to pull it back in this next match. So anything else that we want to talk about though going into this next Miramar, because this is also where we ended up seeing a lot of those big, scary kind of hot drops come through in their very last match.
I just want to toss back to when we had the island
Water
zone finish east of Impala. I doubt we're going to see something as crazy. Maybe it could go all the way down south to the islands of Puerto Higos? I'm not even sure what that city's called down there because we never see it. Yeah, Los Higos, there you go. Maybe we'll see a crazy, you know, zone finish there. Like you guys said, this is the wild card map. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Ooh, Glitter's excited. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it though, because Miramar, it's about to get spicy. Dave, Jukes, going ahead.
Spice it up. Spice it up. Let's go. Match number 2 here, heading on over to the dry desert of Miramar. Dave.
Yo.
Game 1. Done.
Yep. Done.
Over.
Over.
Next set. Not
Next set.
happy. Mad Bulls. Medium happy. What will it take for them to be extra happy?
Who are we talking about here? We talking about Mad Bulls or we talking about X-Set?
Both. Both.
Okay, well, medium happy, extra happy, Mad Bulls, I think another top 4 finish, top 5 finish. If they can consistently get those top 5, top 6 even finishes here, they will slowly be climbing up the leaderboard. Slowly. Now, if they can get a win or a couple kills with those top 5 finishes, then they'll be medium at a nice brisk pace of climbing up the leaderboard. So I think it's all about consistency. You can't come into these games and expect a huge 15-point elim chicken dinner. That's just not going to happen if you're a bottom team. So I think slow and steady will win the race. And when we're talking about X-Set, I think for them to be extra happy is to make it on out of here alive without losing any of their squad mates with 4 elim points.
They're going to have to get it done. Oh, Jay already down to 1 HP. That's not looking too good. Looks like he will be able to get away for the time being. Frozen finding the SLR, switching it on over to the AK. Getting ready for this fight. This is a big one for X-Set. To be honest with you, Dave, I really think that it's...
do or die.
They have to have a top 3 here. Really. Like, in all honesty, if they don't do good in this match, it's going to look real bad, I think, for their entire chances. That's how slim the numbers are in my head.
So it looks like Killswitch trying to hold down that angle, maybe spot out the push from Frozen, while J7 and Polo working as a unit, kind of clearing out this building together. But an Uzi? Oh, an Uzi. At that range, I don't know. Kudor, cooking a grenade, can hear the footsteps. Oh, okay. Polo spotted out Kudor. Ooh, what an angle, though. Okay, but look at this.
So close.
Yeah, next Rio, though, they are slowly grouping up.
And you can see Cooter trying to throw a nade in that window. He's hearing footsteps like crazy, so he does know that they're right there. He might get this. He's just going footstep tracking right there. He's going to spot Killswitch. That may be a really good nade. Ooh, a little overcooked. Killswitch is going to throw one right in return. Cooter's in big trouble. Oh, instead throws it to the side there. Oh, yeah, he tried to do a little bounce off that broken wall. I don't think he realizes that he's in that shack.
This is a sweaty fight, but if X-Set can get a nice little grenade right there, that will be it. A lot of Uzis out here. Killswitch with the pre-fire. Looks like both teams slowly getting ever so closer to one another. But I'm looking at Jay. I know Jay is kind of on the high ground, kind of playing that overarching position, but I think Jay should group up a little bit here. I'm not gonna lie, Hot Jukes.
Killswitch, I do think so as well. That off angle is going to be huge if he can spot the behind that broken wall. So I think that Jay's holding that angle, waiting for them to push up. That smoke may make it a little bit difficult for Jay to track shots if they do run into it. So it kind of an interesting smoke there from Killswitch. And in these kind of fights, everybody, one smoke can be the difference between living or dying. Like literally, one bad smoke, eliminating your sight lines, and you're done. So interesting, really, to look at these plays very, very carefully. Kill switch, and it's just looking to buy some time. And to be honest with you, Dave, this is bad. Yeah. This is already bad for XZ. This position here, whether they get all 4 kills or not, it's eliminating their loot time, their rotation time, especially with this first circle. This first zone went all the way to Puerto Pariaso, so it's going to be pretty tough for them to get into the zone, period, afterwards. They really need to get this fight done with quick.
Yeah, and then not only that, you got A7 and El Pozo, who are going to be done looting here very shortly. That is just north of this current fight of this town. Next, Ria. Possibly pulling off
That's
this
the right
one.
decision.
Kind of realizing, okay, we're spending a ton of time already 5 minutes into this. Bigger picture, we want to make it into the zone. Bigger picture, we want to get some solid placement points here. I like the call. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because literally in my brain, the second I said that, I was like, this is taking way too much time with the zone. And it looks like next Rio were thinking the same exact thing. I was literally just about to say it too. I was like, XZ need to make a decision right now. Like, because they have to think overall match. They can't just think one fight at a time. They have to think, hey, we need to be in top 3 pretty much every single game this week. So, you know, they have to decide, are we going to take this fight? Then we have to press the issue. We can't wait for an opening knock. It's just not, you're not in the same situations as before. That or turn around, get looting, find some other angles, and maybe try to catch them on the way out. But you got to make a decision now.
Yeah,
XZ are taking way too much time here.
Yeah, this was kind of XZ's opportunity as well. They recognized, okay, that squad they're pulling off, but instead of pulling off themselves, they pushed up a little closer to try to catch them, possibly in the backside right there. So I feel like that was a prime opportunity for both teams to pull off. And Hot Jukes, I was talking about Alpha 7. They finished looting. They are in their vehicles, and they are going to be west of Monte Nuevo. So both of these teams, now they have to keep in the back of their mind that there's going to be a squad rotating near you. So if A7 hears some shots out there in the distance, A7, they are big chilling on the overall leaderboard. A7 can do whatever they want to do, and they don't have Na'Vi here to pick on this Super Weekend, so they're looking for some other teams to really play spoiler here.
I'll tell you what right now, if you are in the ocean, Alpha 7 are the baddest sharks there. I mean, you don't want to get anywhere near those guys, so if they continue that fight with each other and they issue some shots, they're going to get the attention of Alpha 7. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. Let's move on to this fight right here really quickly with Baluk Chapdan and Rise. Nunez going down. Nice little 1v1, but does get pieced up from Mythic on the off angle. And now Nunez is going to have to try to call a safety, but Rise, I mean, a very interesting position here from Baluk Chapdan. I mean, very, very split. That off angle from Elion is going to be very, very important here.
Pieced up, creased up. Looking to come out on top of this fight, but Mythic gonna be pushing up here, grenade in hand, cooking that bad boy, gonna be tossing through the window. Mythic not looking to pump the brakes. Oh! Catching you off guard, slipping, peeking through that window is exactly what Mythic did. And Baluk, 18th right now. Baluk, they do not need this. That's a fact.
And they're going down. Rise is taking them out piece by piece. Elion on that off angle looks like he wasn't able to really set himself in a good position to assist his team, and he's just going to take off from here. So a bad game already for Baluk Chapdan, a squad that really needs to put some points up on the board. But another team that does is Mad Bulls, and we're looking right at them, and they're taking S2G on. The Mustache Dave momentum meter, S2G had the most, right? They just won that last chicken dinner, and it looks like Mad Bulls are in a really good spot, but they cannot get too overzealous. They got to utilize that utility, and just like that, Monkey's going to get 1 kill, and they have to just play it smart, get couple more, and get the last finish here. Taking their time,
Mad Bulls, taking their time because they have these broken walls to work with, so they definitely have the cover, and they also have vehicles to work with, too, moving forward. So Timber going to be pumping the brakes. Timber does have a squad mate in the back line who I think might have gotten tagged in the process, and now I see Coops and Knights all the way back there as well. If Timber, if Timber could just prone and hide, the Knights might actually take the fight to the Mad Bulls here. But looks like Timber was easy prey out here for the Knights.
Oh yeah, the Knights already got Silas as well from S2G, so that's gonna be a quick little 2 points from them. And the Knights, they're another squad that's set up very, very well for this tournament. So they're gonna continue their dominance here, putting up some good kills. They're in the next zone, as you can see on the right side. So they're gonna be holding the spot for quite a while, in my eyes. Team I'm looking at though is Xset. You know, Xset on that far angle. They're very lucky that nobody has really taken Los Leones. So they should be able to rotate in here relatively for free. But I guarantee you they're hoping that that zone shifts to them.
On the edge of glory. Another team that's kind of standing out to me is Alpha 7. Usually we see them rotate near the northern ends, maybe even to that northeast side, but it looks like this game they're going all the way down south here. So it looks like A7 might be trying out some new rotational pathways here on Miramar. That's exactly what you want to see from these top teams, really trying to prepare, in my mind, Hot Juice, for the finals coming up.
I think that's all you should be doing. You know, I think you really want to just shake it up, so because teams are going to be analyzing your every little move, every vehicle rotation, and you kind of want to be able to mix up the cars just a little bit, not be too predictable. Because if you do the same thing that you've been doing, I guarantee you come finals time, when you got hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, these guys are going to be so well prepared, and they're going to catch you slipping.
Effect frustrated right now with the fact that they're going to have to defend this compound for the third time. No angles out here, just punching the walls. And Mad Bulls, yeah, they should be. They should be kind of scared. 17th overall. And a lot of teams have been eyeballing this current position for some time now. It is going to be in the zone, but Besiktas, look at these angles they got here. They got these nice little angles from the cliffs over here. So Monkey needs to be careful running out there in the open.
Man, I'm just so insanely proud of Besiktas and what they were able to do in that last Super Weekend. It's honestly, it's so impressive. I mean, I still can't express enough just how tough it was to be able to do what they did. You know, to get so many points. I think they were in 11th place after from being.
They still are. They still are. After
they still are.
game,
Yeah. So in 11th place, beating teams that have played 15 games more than them. That's insane.
Ooh, let's see if they can win this fight here. Whiffing a couple shots there with the Yump. Yeah, I would have opened up with the M4, not gonna lie. I think Besiktas is a nice threshold too when we're looking at Xset. I think that 11 points per game on average is a nice threshold because that gets them around 160, 165 points at the end of 15 games. And I think right now, if you're Xset, that's the team you're trying to catch up to is Besiktas because they only played one Super Weekend. So let's see, we'll get back to that. That's a day 2, day 3 topic. But look at Besiktas, interesting 2-2 split. Sending 2 up here in the front lines to clear the warehouse.
Agori with a nice little pre-fire there. Doesn't want to let any nades come that way. Mad Bulls, I don't understand Yin Yang's position. That's the one out of this entire one that I just do not get. He's laying down on that side, but I guarantee you nobody's going to be pushing up that way. And at what point will he decide to move? Okay, he's going to throw a nade off to that off angle. Maybe he's trying to stare through that doorway. Not too sure, but his teammates inside the building are getting pieced up. He's got to come up and help him.
Yeah, I really did like that volley, though, to block at least one of the... Oh, was that a grenade? Okay, I was like, is that a gas can for a second? Yeah, that was a
All right, here he comes.
So here comes Yin Yang. That's what you were looking for. This player to really pop up here from their prone position. Going for that pre-fire. About 16 bullets left on the UMP. Jump shot.
Got him.
Spray down. You question Yin Yang. Yin Yang said, Hot Jukes, relax, bro. Watch this.
Hey, well, he said that, and I said, it's about time, bro. About time. Clutch play there. Monkey need to clutch up this 1v1, and he does! So Besiktas go down to the Mad Bulls, a squad needing those points ever so desperately, and they are going to be able to do it with all 4 up.
Huge. That was a huge play from the Mad Bulls. They should be able to get the last revive, heal up, boost up, and reposition. My only concern is where do they head next? The next circle, they got the Knights ahead of them, and then you're gonna have Eastern Stars piling in right behind you. So we'll keep tabs on the Mad Bulls. But looking over here at Xset, interesting 2-2 split out there on that west side here, Hot Jukes. Interesting.
Very, very interesting. Jay maybe get caught out here by Choco. I believe he's gonna be able to see him. I think Aton is waiting to 1-2-3 him. So they're gonna wait every last second and then just shoot together to make sure they get that knock. Oh, I'm sorry. It looked like Jay was on top of that silo for a second, but it does look like he is past it. So Aton aren't going to have the sight lines quite on exit. This is a very, very interesting 2-2 split, Dave. Let me ask you, what do you think's going through their head?
I don't know. Offset the risk of the next circle not favoring you, possibly. That's what we tend to see a lot of these teams do. But with the fact of how far they are, only 3 points right now on the overall leaderboard, I much rather have my teammates closer than further away from each other. Just out throughout all the games, Hot Jukes. And that's just my take.
Especially in this zone here, because if one squad just pulls up on the duo, they're done for.
You're dead.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I guess they're trying to hedge their bets, and not to mention, it's on both sides of this road. I don't get it. I personally don't understand the 2-2 split. But then again, maybe they got the, like you said the other day, Team Kessel pulled out some crazy strats, right? They were looking at the book of PUBG Mobile. And by the way, the book, we wrote it, right? First chapter, don't die.
Yep.
Chapter 2, how to respect Papa Blue, right?
Yep.
But maybe Xset, they're looking in the glossary, Dave.
The glossary.
The glossary, the index, you know? Pulling out some sneaky plays.
They're looking at the solutions page. Let's be real. They're all the way at the end. They're looking at the solutions.
That's what they need.
And that's what they need here. But the solutions are kind of being made as, you know, we watch these teams progress here in the lobby. So we'll see what they can do. Next zone does not favor them, so we'll pay even closer attention to Exit on their rotation over there on that west side mountainside.
Okay, nice shots there from Eastern Stars onto Unicorns of Love. There goes Bozzy. He was the clutch player in that last game to get that nice little off-angle press, and I think he's going to have to do the same thing here. Kapala's in big trouble, and it's going to go down to Fresh most likely. Senetexa pushing it on to Fenerbahce. Nox Bomb with the pre-fire. He's got him literally half an HP. Catches the angle through that broken wall, and I guarantee you he's just asking, you know, who built this building? How could dare they leave an angle like that open? And here comes Carrillo, pissed off, saying, how dare you do that to my teammate?
Yeah, building definitely not up to code. Looks like Carrillo going to be with the M249, able to pop in the building, looking for that heal off. And
the
Fenerbahce getting third party too. So it's only a matter of time before that solo is going to be taken out. And yes, they were. So, wow, interesting fights down here in the south as well.
Revo throwing that little pinball nade, you know, able to get that last finish. That was a nice one there. Bozzy going down from Eastern Stars. Unicorns of Love set up here on the south side of the map. So they are not in this next circle. They're going to have to press up a little bit higher toward La Bendita. They're going to be pushing right into Rise. So Rise is in a great position here to gatekeep Mad Bulls and Unicorns of Love. It's possible we may see them work together here to get into this next zone. Mad Bull stopping a little bit early just to try and get some sight lines because they know that that's a field of death. They cannot drive wide out in the open or they're getting popped out their vehicle instantly. So right now, Mad Bulls are just literally, they're mad. They're trying to figure out how do we get into this next circle.
Yeah, there is slight, you know, terrain differences out here in the fields that, you know, if you're prone can really help you, but you're not going to be able to prone for long because these fields are not in that next zone. So obviously your Rise in the compound on the edge in the zone have a clear advantage, and they might be able to really rack up a couple of elim points on the Mad Bulls and Unicorns of Love out here in the distance. Look at this. Like, this is a beautiful spot right here. Talk about sightlines, Hot Jukes. Rise,
oh yeah,
I guarantee you they're gonna get at least 4 elim points here. At least 4.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, they you know, Mad Bulls really needed the help of Rise to focus on Unicorns of Love. Lin is playing it very quiet, doesn't want to give away his position, even though he had shots on the Mad Bulls. He knows the positions he's in, but does end up getting spotted there towards the end. It's just Fresh up out the other side. Mad Bulls are able to do a beautiful wraparound, actually able to circumvent Rise. One last player, though, the last one, just a little too slow, and does
I'm actually surprised. I feel like Rise was sleeping heavy on that one, dude. Like, to allow 3 of the Mad Bulls squad mates to kind of rotate in vehicles right past you, I don't know what Rise was looking at, man. But to me, I felt like that was an easy vehicle explosion. I don't know what they were looking at. Maybe, were they looking at Knights up here? Possibly. They were looking all around the place, not down there on the outskirts, though.
Hey, I'll tell you what, with that kind of circle shift, I think you have making the one player sacrifice to be able to get so many up, that's huge. But the zone shifts even further north, so the Mad Bulls are just kicking themselves because they still have a lot of traveling left to do. Supermassive Blaze putting some work against Alpha 7, the kings of the lobby, and they're going to take them out there. So Alpha 7 go down early twice in the last 2 games. Then again, Alpha 7 can do whatever the heck they want with how many points they've made over this entire tournament. Knights looking to press up onto Footballers. I'm still keeping an eye on Xset. Xset are outside of the circle. Here comes the map right here. Dave, what do you see?
Ooh. I see Rise. If they were scouting the Knights earlier on, I think this is a nice opportunity for Rise to pop their vehicles and try to pull up right behind the fight between Knights and Footballers. This is their window. This is their opportunity to at least get to this next zone. So let's see what they do. As the Knights, they are going to be content for the time being. We see some folks getting tossed out. And once again, Mad Bulls in the crosshairs, in the open fields, just trying to survive.
Yeah, this is a horrible shift for them. They were hoping that zone would go further south, but instead completely in the opposite direction. So Mad Bulls are going to just try and survive. Knights, I think, are going to be very happy and content to just share this right now, at least until the next circle. But Rise may have something else coming as they're starting to creep behind and trying to find some sneaky little off angles onto the Knights. Mythic about to crest this hill. Will he spot one of the Knights here? That's the question. And yes, he does. He gets some shots on, but we shift on over to Aton. And it looks like Mythic was able to catch Xenox on that one. Aton able to take out Nextria. They go down in 10th place. And back to this fight here. Beautiful nade there from Lutz onto Chico. And now it's just 2 players up left for the Knights as Coops is trying to pick up his squad mate Xenox.
Yeah, Coops trying to get that pickup, and I believe Alucard in Lavison's compound as well. Looks like Lavison going to be hearing those footsteps, pre-firing through the smokes, popping back onto that 2nd story floor. Trying to buy some time for their squad mates in the opposite building to get those pickups, but it looks like the Knights are not going to allow much time to Lavison. Lavison did toss a molly, but here comes the push. Coops in the front line, UMP to the face, and the pre-fire to seal the deal. Let's see, though. Football is trying to get revenge on their fellow teammate.
It's a beautiful little reset that we saw from the Knights. He gets so many back up, and oh my goodness, Lutz! Taking out both of them, making it almost a full squad wide, but Alucard said, nah, not today. Here comes Soke. Able to get 1 confirmed point. He's gonna go for the last one. He's gonna catch the heel, and does. So down go the Knights. Footballers. Soke clutching it up, and Rise. Oh,
Rise.
Goodness, here comes Rise. Looking to clean it all up.
So, yeah, they did just that. They recognized that window that they had. They popped up, they got their vehicles, and they made sure to push at that exact time that fight was happening in order to gain themselves a nice solid spot in the compound. But not only did they have 3 kind of keeping tabs on the Knights Footballers fight, they got Mufasa on that off angle, making sure SMB don't third party them. So I really like the heads up play right now from Rise. 8 elim points to this game, by the way.
I can't wait to see what Rise does in the finals, to be honest. I think Rise has just really grown this entire tournament. I think we just see them get better and better. Their timing seems to be a little bit more on point. Like right there, they couldn't have done it any better themselves. So well executed from Rise. The team, though, that we're looking at really hard, Xset. Xset need a huge game here. Oh, come on. Zin, do it.
Mythic
he sees
is
him.
risking it here. Risking it big time on the roof. I know there's some sightlines up there.
Give it to me.
But right now, you know, you got the compound, you got the hard cover. Like, don't be too greedy. And yeah, to your point, Rise, timing on that push was everything. And they timed it just right. So Xset, top 4 situation. They're cresting over that hill. Mythic gonna be taking some shots with the M4 across the way. 5 kills on Mythic too. And oh, Xset, very questionable push over there.
Wow.
They had the ledge. I believe that ledge, that kill switch is on at J7. Is it
not
in the zone? It's not in.
Not in.
Okay, still though, I'm sure there's some type of slight dip they can hold down in a prone position versus just sending it down that hill.
Yeah, that was suicide. That was a suicide hill, 100%. They had to have done it. They should have wrapped, at least, in the slightest, you know? Maybe wrap towards Mythic side as a full team and try to make something happen, or getting super late. But yeah, just like that, kill switch, gonna get knocked. J7 will get the revive here, but Papa Blue's coming. And Papa Blue is coming in hot. So Xset already with that one single push with 2 players. Oh man, you hate to see it. At least, hopefully, they pass up all their meds. And we may see a heal strat out here. That could be the play.
And it all comes back to timing, right? If they would have just done that push a couple seconds later, Furious would have been the target surprise, right? Because Furious
J7, what are you doing?
down the hill. J7 do the same exact thing that their 2 squad mates did just a moment ago. J7 falling!
What?
Off the bike and then kill switch taken out. So, yep. Hey, 4th place though. 4th place. 8 points though, Hot Jukes. That's better than 3 points from last game. So, 8 points. I don't know how many limbs they got. That's still a solid, that's a dub. That's a dub in my books. All things considered. 8 points is a dub in my books. I'm not being biased. I'm telling you the facts.
I don't think so.
8 points?
I don't think so. Not after that last game. No, I wouldn't. Not with how many points they need. They need way more. You know, with them getting 3 points in the first match, and not to mention, you know, the rest of the day is not guaranteed here. So you have to, you know, account for the bad games, the bad positions that you'll get. So, I mean, I just don't understand that push at all from Xset. Maybe, you know, we can chat with them after and figure out what they were thinking on that one. But we're still got this match going on here. Rise, Gary, full sending it into Supermassive Blaze. But Rise, just with this position, just so dominant.
SMB out here, looking to make some moves. Furious versus Rise. Rise have been having a pretty solid game. Now, they got 2 of their squad mates knocked out in this trench right above them. Big Milo. They recognize the potential for a nice little grenade. Might be able to pull up a little closer in that trench and toss a grenade or a molly over that ridge. And, well, that would pretty much be it for Rise. So we'll see what Big Milo will do on that off angle.
I'll tell you what, this is just too competitive right here. You know, that push that we saw from Xset. You may be able to get away with that. You'll get away with that in PMCO, you know? You may get away with that in PMPL. But you are not getting away with it here at the PMGC. I mean, if you get caught driving up like that, you're gonna get popped out immediately. Mythic trying to catch an off angle, over peaks for just half a second and goes down. Furious Gaming are gonna have the dominant position here, but can rise up and make something happen. We're about to find out.
Hashtag go Rise in the chat. Hashtag Mufasa. Hashtag Gary right here. Looking to get a lot of the attention, but Poppy Patro on the off angle, keeping Nunez pinned down. Oh, here comes the push over the hill from
Nunez
Furious.
has to help him out. Nunez has to. Right now. No choice. Gary.
There it is. The bait.
By himself. Nunez doing some great shots there with a laydown. Applying that pressure. At least gets 1 point. That's huge. Every point here matters. Gary!
In the front lines with the UMP.
Nunez goes down, though, so now it's just Gary in a 1v2 situation. He's got the hill, though. Gary, he's got a rock. Is the rock big enough? Is it big enough? Gun switch! Gets 1 knock! Can he do it? Gary, the legend! Gets it done, baby! Gary! All day long! Legend!
They don't call him Gary for no reason, Hot Juke. You don't get the name Gary if you can't win a 1v3. Not only is his name Gary, it's Gary X. So you know what the X stands for? Clutch. Gary Clutch out here. Wow, I really did like the position from Nunez, though. I know we were kind of like, Nunez, do something. But Nunez had such a nice sightline that once when they pushed over that hill, it was nothing but sightlines for Nunez. And we saw exactly how that was able to play a very important factor, in my opinion, for them to come out on top here this game. But shout out to Gary. we talk about this player all the time. We were talking about Gary last game. Gary. You love to see it, man. You love to see it.
Dude, I got so hyped. I jumped up, jumped back, dude. I pushed my, you know, the studio even further back up in here. Dude. That was so insane. You love to see it there. Clutch, dude. Clutch plays. And honestly, that's one of those situations where you should lose that. Like, you should lose that all day long. But those little micro plays, this is what makes you a superstar player. To do what shouldn't be done, you know, and Gary able to clutch that out. Just, the man has ice water in his veins, Dave. Nothing.
So,
I mean, literally, his sash, clutch badges all
clutch
over
badge. Boom, 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 boom. So we had the Frozen 1v4. What was it, Matic? Like 1v6? I think Gary up there too. Up there too.
I mean, Gary,
it was Matic or Miku, one of the two. But I know those have to be like the top 3 plays so far of the tournament.
Whew, Gary had that 1v4 in Sanhok, and then just again clutches it up, but this time for the chicken dinner. What a animal here. I mean, that's all I think I can start thinking about. Moving on over back to the highlights here. You know, we're seeing some great plays from everybody, but they ain't no Gary plays. They ain't no Gary plays, Dave.
Ain't nothing like a Gary play right there. Gary Clutch out here. Gary Clutch. So SMB, right here. Another team that, I'm not gonna lie, solid game, because SMB were in 16th coming into this match, and they were tied with Eastern Stars for 117. So SMB getting some solid placement points along with some elim points with Xset. I know you want to see more from Xset, but 8 points, Hot Juice. I think I'll take that. You know what I wouldn't take though? Why send 2 in the buggy though? Send
I don't get
one.
it.
Send 1 to test the waters, but it looks like they just got in the buggy and dove right into that deep end, and well, they found out the hard way. And then they sent another though across the hill. I think it comes down to the pressure. It has to be the pressure.
But here it is. No pressure.
Gary. No pressure.
No pressure for Gary.
Just
no
dive
pressure
it.
all day long.
Just dive it.
What are you looking at?
Reload.
The lobby.
Got the reload. He got the reload.
Dude, I mean, what a
reload.
crazy. The reload, the swap, the back and forth, the baila, the dance, bro. Just straight dancing on him. Dave, what a match.
Gary, hey, let's hear what the dust got to say about Gary. Gary Clutch. Gary Clutch. Gary Clutch.
Gary. Gary. Gary.
I'm speechless. I have something. I don't even know what to say anymore. Okay. What do you mean? There we go. Sorry, we were speechless. That's how speechless we were. I saw that at the very beginning, but we were so speechless that we just need to give that moment of silence for Gary. Gary, a couple other teams being able to pull it through. We're getting a ton of points at the beginning here that they really needed to go ahead and grab. But this time, instead of Coops, it looks like we're taking a look at Rise Mythic grabbing this MVP again. Almost actually 2,000. Yeah, it glittered 2,000 damage almost.
That's insane that he was able to do over 1,700 damage for himself alone. Huge performance coming out of Rise. They've really been kind of picking up a lot of steam, I feel like, in the tail end of this entire season so far. Now in 4th place in our overall rankings, you can see that they are definitely aiming for one of those top spots heading into finals, and this is a strong position for Rise to be in if they are wanting to come out on top when the finals come around.
I just can't believe how much they've actually risen up this leaderboard from the very beginning. Them going against Alpha 7, now seriously only 2 points behind them. I mean, that is definitely something to be proud of, especially since we keep comparing them and their play style as well. But the next thing, it's a big thing that we kind of have to talk about as well here, Zute. I mean, Xset, they got in the 4th place position there. We're saying that was a good game, but still, is that still enough 15 points?
It's going in the upwards trajectory, at least. I was saying earlier, they started today 114 points away from 16th place. Now they are 104 points away from that 16th place. So they're making their way towards that 16th place spot. It's definitely, you know, we want that chicken dinner though. That's when we'll see that huge jump up that they really need. But the longer it takes for them to get a chicken dinner, the higher chance of, you know, that team they're trying to catch up to gets a chicken dinner, and then they're just falling way back down in that point gap. So every game matters. We're going to be keeping a really close eye on that, you know, every match all throughout the 3 days.
And starting strong from the very beginning is definitely something that they need to just go ahead and do as well. But you talked about jumping up. These guys, though, can go ahead and start jumping up and get involved with our treasure boxes. It's the first stage of the treasure boxes hunts going on. Already started. It goes to December 21st. You guys can go ahead and enter in the in-game center and use the PMGC tokens to redeem directly. You can go ahead and get these tokens by watching live on YouTube, watching live in the in-game esports center, or through social media events. The second stage of the treasure box hunt will start next week, so please stay tuned because there's a lot more surprises yet to come. I mean, just look at those insane skins up there for grabs, y'all.
The pan.
I like the outfits. I would pick outfits for both stage 1 and stage 2. I think those outfits look really nice.
The outfits in the pan. Well, is there anything else that we want to go on ahead and talk about? Because we're actually moving on now to our second Erangel match. So we've had an Erangel, we've had a Miramar. It's finally the halfway point of our first day of this super weekend. Anything else we're expecting? First, though, we gotta ask you guys the question, which is which team will get the most kills today? You guys can go ahead and put that in chat. It can kind of be going ahead and actually correspond with the question I just asked our analysts here. What are we expecting this next one? Who's gonna go ahead and get the most?
Ooh, the most kills today. It could go. I'm gonna just lean towards the Knights. They're looking good still. They made it to that end game. You know, on that last one, Football has had a little bit of a tussle with them and came out on top. But I think overall, the Knights will have the most kills today.
Seems like Glitter agrees with that as
Or
well.
Rise.
That's true. That is true. But we'll have to wait and see because we're about to be jumping into our third match of today. But of course, first is a break. So we'll see you guys shortly.
Dismantle like that, Navi. Oh, that nade was quite close, but Matic still able to get there. Oh my god.
Some type of consistent points. Tron! 16, but Tron, talk about a team looking for
last man left. He has this little vehicle to work in as cover. So as soon as he gives his position away, that's when things would be done for him. He finds the knock, and he might just be able to clutch this. Now it's a one-on-one situation. If Milo's is able to connect this nade, that's going to be absolutely huge. Nade's being traded from both these sides and gets the hit on 7. He clutches it once, but Sheikta, they somehow pull it off.
Going fishing, and Rambo's still in the water. Somehow they still don't see him. He pops out, and he gets the finish. Goes back into the water. Are you kidding me? Watching. He's gonna be looking this direction. That nade though does press him out. Football is maybe able to take him down, and he gets the kill. Picks up 2 kills.
Trying his best to hold on to the position, but yeah, as you mentioned, Besiktas definitely do have great positioning, and possibly even they can try and win this one. But Football is now, oh, this is not good. Rambo easily able to take care of 2.
Still waiting as Nice desperately hold on in 5th position. A solo also for A7. Revo, he'll find another knock.
you know, any team like that, I think the goal is to obviously qualify for the last Super Weekend and just get some type of consistent points. Tron! 16, but Tron, talk about a team looking for...
Oh no, Analysts, they're not going to be feeling good. Just watching just A7 getting dismantled like that, Navi. Oh, that nade was quite close, but Matic still able to get there. Oh my god, what was that? That's a heroic entry from the side of Matic.
Like you mentioned, the blue zone going to be applying pressure. Alucard making that U-turn, popping out with the DP, but immediately taken down.
Immediately, Matic! Let's go, baby! Which punches out the full dashes with the quick snipe and finishes! Goes! Matic's insane! He's on fire!
Welcome back, PMGC West League, about to be going into our third match once again on Erangel. The first Erangel, pretty spicy. Got to see our top teams kind of duke it out. This next one are the teams that actually needed these points. So going into this third match, just straight off the bat, what are we expecting? Are we going to kind of get the same thing from the first or the second, or a nice mixture, Zute?
I think it's going to be kind of a balance of both. The first game, like you said, all the top teams as well, all the teams that were towards the bottom just really choked that. And then with the Miramar mixed in right afterwards, we saw a little bit of more of a mix So I think everyone coming into this Erangel game, some of the teams on the bottom will do well, some of the teams near the top might, mess up a little bit. It should balance out a little bit more evening now that we're like halfway throughout the day.
It seems like the lobby might finally start getting used to each other going into this one potentially, especially with it being on Erangel once again. Kind of curious to see if people are going to learn from their first match, but Glitter as well. Is there any team in specific that we need to keep an eye on? Maybe even corresponds with our most damage here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think everyone is now going to be keeping their eyes on Rise for the rest of the day. Most damage, like we were saying, over 1,700 damage goes the way of Mythic. A massive performance for him. But then we also have Yin Yang up here from Mad Bulls, and we've got Big Milo from Furious Gaming as well. Both names that we heard the casters talking about a lot during that game. Both players stepping up to the plate for their squads. And then we've got most rescues here as we continue talking about this upcoming game. But I mean, I think Rise, if this is where their new level of gameplay is, they're just going to be scary for the rest of the day. Definitely a possibility that they continue this upward trend in the next match, but back-to-back chicken dinners, like that's a little difficult.
A little difficult, but we've definitely seen it before, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. They have absolutely been rising. I hate that, oh man, it's just, I'm not trying to go ahead and make that pun there, but I guess it's just going to be there anyway. But also something that we should keep track of is, of course, our sponsor, 1+9 and 9 Pro, because with that flagship performance, that immersive 120Hz display, the hyper touch technology made for gamers, made for you, this, of course, is your best shot to climb the leaderboard, the 1+9 and 9 Pro. But let's just go on ahead and say the thing that everybody's wondering. Who do we think is going to be taking this next match? Once again on Erangel, Zute started off.
I'm going to toss it back to Xset. I predicted them in the first game. They did pretty bad, but second game, they're definitely doing a lot better. I do think they could have cleaned up that last push. A lot of the casters are even talking about it. But it's an upward trend. They're doing better and better. So maybe this one is where they'll get that chicken dinner. I am rooting for Xset, but just disclaimer, I don't think they'll make it. But I want to root for them either way, right? Like prove me wrong. I want you guys to prove me wrong.
Love the underdog story as well. I mean, there's a huge hurdle ahead of them, so if they make it, that's even more impressive. So we'll see. Glitter, though, who do you think is going to win this?
I looked towards the top of the leaderboard for this next Erangel match. I think after the performance we saw in the first Erangel, I'm hoping Unicorns of Love can take this one home this time and get that chicken dinner. Okay, we've seen a lot of elims coming out of them and some really solid gameplay, so let's see if they get the chicken dinner on top of it.
I mean, they were super aggressive first match. That's not a bad pick whatsoever either. I kind of went with Fenerbahce actually, because I mean, I feel like they have had absolute moments where they're just so powerful in their gameplay, and they kind of started stepping back. So now this is the call to once again for Fenerbahce to start really bringing it back, because we know that it's in them. And now's the time to. I mean, Zute, you said it yourself. Like the first day, this is really where you kind of have to try to start off well to set yourself up for these next 2 days.
Yeah, especially if you're towards the bottom. Now, Fenerbahce, they were one of those really consistent teams that just, kind of the chicken dinner was eluding them a little bit here and there. So it's not too important, for the top 16. But after this week, right, we're going into the finals. And the finals is a way more limited amount of games, and you need top 6 overall in the finals, and you can bet your butt the top 6 teams, they're all going to have at least one chicken dinner, right? So better start, learning how to secure that end game, close the games out, get that chicken dinner. I know right now it's the league week, but it's good practice for the finals coming up very soon.
That's why we're starting to see more teams like S2G kind of step it back up, because you're right, this really is the time to really go on ahead and practice the way that you should be playing, because finals is so close. What's also close is we're about to be jumping into our next match once again on Erangel. This time we're going to be sending it on over to Highland Wolf and Necro for Erangel.
Thanks very much for tuning in. Of course, the PMGC West, myself, Hunter Wolf, and Necro joined beside me for the third game of today. And Xset is do or die for them. They've averaged 7.5 points between those two games, and 2 of those equal 15 in total. It's not good enough, though. They still need to get more points, Necro, and you and me were looking at that second game, looking at, I think, what was, quite frankly, a really poor performance coming out from Xset. And this is what we talked about. This is the nerves coming out of teams in this final week where they are trying to revert back to the Xset of week 1. They avoid the fights. They don't want to play for the team fights. They don't want to go for kills. But now they need to, because it's, as we say, do or die. They have to make as many points as they can possibly get.
I mean, if you talk about Xset, you can clearly see, right? They're just cracking under that pressure. I mean, yeah, even in the end, they did make quite close in the Miramar game, but still, some silly mistakes. And all I want to say for that is yikes. Anything else you want to say, Highland Wolf?
I think it's honestly shameful. I think that we are expecting Xset to be, quite frankly, at a higher level, right? This is a PMGC West. This is a super weekend. The final super weekend at that, you have to be able to step up under pressure. And I think it's right to mention that as the mental side of things, they are under the most pressure. They have to perform, I think, in terms of points, as good as S2G in week 1 or even better. They have to be essentially the best team this super weekend. But from what we're seeing so far, they are getting upwards. They are getting towards that top 4, top 3 position. If they can show me now in these next 3 games that they can maintain that momentum, there's hope. But they've already lost their opportunities, right? They had a bad game 1. They missed out on a couple points game 2. And these matter when it comes to the overall standings. And it could matter in terms of teams like Xset going through or teams like Eastern Stars clinching their way into that top 16, which are also under some pressure.
Exactly. I mean, Xset definitely do have the most amount of pressure on them for now. And as you talked about, they need that consistency moving in forward inside this Erangel game as well. But still, just that consistency isn't enough. They will still need to have 1 or 2 pop-off games today, or at least 1 pop-off game for them, either a little bit more elimination points added up to their tally. That can help them out quite a lot, at least climbing up their overall rankings. As you do know, as I have seen as well, they have quite a heavy burden to carry over. They have a mountain to climb.
Yeah, they do have at least 4 something here in this third game. A comfortable zone here. A zone that we've seen before many a time. A very central-based one. It centers, of course, around Potato Hill, around Pachinki. So this should be comfortable for Xset. They should have these plans ready to navigate into this zone. We've seen teams generally in this type of first phase zone head in from that eastern side and make their way towards Potato Hill, and that has been the most contested spot now for a team like Xset in around Mills side. You're looking potentially also at making a different flank, making a different route in, and keep in mind that South Island here, it's still open on both bridges. You could see an Xset that take down over to Novo and then hit it up across that northern front side of the South Island and past those beaches onto the western bridge and then come up towards the Unicorns of Love, where they are now on that very pier side. I think that's the safest route for Xset, because going in on front, as we said, to all of those eastern teams that we know, love, and will go up in that next few minutes, 5-6 minutes into the game, across towards that Potato Hill, it's going to be pretty disastrous to be able to hold that against so many players.
I mean, again, talking about the safest route, Xset still, they're looking in quite a disastrous spot if you take a look at that, because you have Fenerbahce in the front, you have Aton in the back, you have Supermassive Blaze right above you. The only safest route, as you mentioned, is between Fob and Shelter, but still to navigate that perfectly, at least up till now, what we've been saying, Xset, I feel like they will still struggle. Now, what they can do here is try and wait out a little bit more, let these other teams surpass them, let these other teams pass by, and then make a late rotation. But I feel like we also need to talk about Gary's 1v3 clutch in that previous game, Jake.
Oh man, you look towards back at Rise, and yes, some teams struggling, but Rise ain't struggling whatsoever in this final super weekend. I think this is also something to talk about when it comes to the storylines, right? Of A7, yes, they have been the superstar Southern American team, but then you look at Rise, is that, as we said, baby brother almost coming in. I don't think we can call him a baby brother anymore, quite frankly.
Yeah, they have grown up. They have grown up.
Right, they've become an adult right now, and they're ready to take it toe-to-toe to A7. I think to take it toe-to-toe with any of these teams inside of this lobby, and I think when Rise are on form, not only are they a team that we're currently looking at, of course, making it inside of the top 16, but next week, right, in those final 16 spots, the finals of this Global Championship at this stage of the tournament, making it inside of that top 6, I think is possible for them.
Oh, I'm scared for Exit over here. They're just following the footsteps of Fenerbahce. Now, Rebellion you do see in the front. If Exit do realize Fenerbahce is right in the front, I'm pretty sure at this point in time they have spotted Fenerbahce. So they can try and go for a little bit of different route. But if Fenerbahce takes a stop and also take a little bit of dig onto Exit, if they even find one player from Exit, that's going to be putting them under a lot of pressure. And they're going to be cracking under it for sure. But on the other hand, yeah, Exit, they're just moving really close now. Rebellion being separated out, this might be a little chance for Exit to try and handicap Fenerbahce, and that's what they're exactly doing. But the problem is the timing is wrong from the side of Exit. But still, in the end, you have J7 to save the day.
Yeah, it's Rebellion. He moved in the wrong way, right? He tried to dodge out Supermassive Blaze. Baluch as well. He spins his vehicle. Oh no, the baggy has left him, and so is his life as Maron will get taken out. Baluch also split.
Supermassive Blaze.
Supermassive Blaze, right. They're gonna drop
third party at Exit, and Exit are down 2 player now. Oh no!
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my days, Exit. What's going on?
Dude, they got that 1 kill but lost 2. That's not really a good trade from the side of Exit. On the other hand, Polo finds another one out of Supermassive Blaze, but still there's a 3-man strong squad. You still have Coursera all the way in the back. Polo is all the way out in the open. I don't like his position, but still that kill being confirmed now. So Exit are looking a little decent inside the game. If I'm not wrong, they only have 1 defeat on their name for now. But still, Exit now, they're getting charged on by Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce, we do know they're quite an aggressive team. In Super Weekend 1, they were one of those teams, they had no chicken dinners for themselves. Instead, they were relying completely on those kill points. And Fenerbahce, they definitely do have the players who have the individual gun skills. Falky spotting 1 player out, but the nade from J7 is too good. It's too accurate. It's too precise. And now Duke and Machine, he does know where Polo is. Polo aggressing in forward. But no, I don't like the move from Polo. He should have played behind that door. No, Polo, why?
Polo, oh no, it's all going so horribly wrong for Exit. First out, only 1 point. Exit are crumbling under this pressure. I don't think they've got the mental fortitude in this final Super Weekend. Like, that might be one of those nails inside a coffin, locking away Exit from, of course, that top 16. It has been so tough for them. But as we said, they needed to be that aggressive team. I liked that they were going for Fenerbahce. I liked that they were trying to show this aggression, but as you said rightly so, they were late to that play. In a team that actually Fenerbahce were running away from, the Supermassive Blaze squad, they were actually able to punish out the slow retreat back through from Exit after confirming that kill. And that sloppiness, that cost them their lives. As S2G also going to fall into 1v1 as Lutz, or Lutz, should I say, also going to confirm 1 away. And this is also now when I want to talk about this. S2G, yes, they're going to lose 1, but it's hardly actually in contrast to how strong some of these top squads here in Echo have been playing in this week 3. And it's not just S2G, it's Knights, Unicorns of Love. All of these 3 teams, I think, have been the best so far in terms of consistency in this week 3. And you look towards Unicorns of Love as that most consistent team. You look towards that first day of week 3 that they played, and they never even came out of a 4th position. That was the worst they got in that first day of league play. It was 2 seconds, a 3rd and a 4th overall. That is insane. And then to see that copied through in the first game and then into towards the second game. Yes, Miramar's not their strongest map, but now we're heading into Erangel again. We've got Sanhok, which Unicorns of Love are the most consistent surviving team for. I'm expecting Unicorns of Love can make some big statement points this weekend.
No, definitely. Unicorns of Love has to be one of the most consistent team. And I feel like even in week 3 league days, we were talking about how each and every single player is individually skilled, right? He can be a one-man army if they want to. And Unicorns of Love is just so strong. Even if they have one man kind of falling away from the other team, they can always stand up for themselves. And this is what I really like about Unicorns of Love. Each and every single player can be that star player for Unicorns of Love. But on the other hand, we do see Rise against Nextruya. Both these teams have been looking really good so far up till now, and Rise now looking to charge on Nextruya. Yikta laid quite close, might just take a little damage, but knows the answer. Instead, here comes the cavalry from the side of Nextruya. Oh no, Yikta taking quite a lot of damage. He needs to fall back, and that's what he exactly does. But the charge from Rise is too hard to handle, but knock on the Mythic is going to be opening a lot of opportunities. Yikta able to fall back. But the rest of the Mythic shouldn't really be that tough.
Keep in mind, though, Knights, they are inside the edge of this fight, so they could come in for the third party. You do see Coops scouting out on that front side for them. I think they're waiting to see if more will come out of this fight. Yes, it will. The Yeeter will fall down, and that will be a beautiful nade from the side of Rise. But can they flush that out to the killers? And he had his inside.
Oh man, that was a spectacular nade indeed. And Bolly, if you talk about spectacular plays, Gary is well known in doing so. Rise, Gary finding another one now next to Ruya. They're hurt, they're down quite low. Alucard, he needs to realize Kador is right in the back, and he might be caught. Kador might just have a star play inside this one. But still, he does not want to challenge any fights. Only man left from the side of next to Ruya. He has a lot of burden on his shoulder. Instead, he's going to be going for those placement points, and that's what is probably the most understandable play at this point in time. Mufasa being taken down in the front. Getting the res back up onto Mufasa should be a tough task, but still, Rise, they never crack under these kind of pressures. They are always a team that are going to face fear head on, and that's what I really love about Rise.
But immense pressure, of course, Knights, they are surrounding them. Aton even is that fourth party. They will drive over. I don't think they'll join on this fight. The Choco is potentially going to stop in that compound far away from it. They could join in the event of a slower engagement, but Mythic, he's making that sped up just a little bit more. The nade onto Coops, it does take him slightly lower, but they do need to be careful. Alucard as well on the flank side, and it's those two in the back members. It's those two backside Knights squads. That's what I'm nervous about. And Gary getting knocked by Chico. That's the engagement they were looking for as Nunes falls as well.
No. Oh no, the defense is crumbling from the side of Rise. Mufasa goes down as well. Now it's just that one last man alive. Mythic, the final pillar of the team. And as we talk about that, the pillar falls down and Rise out the game now in 15th place. That's not really a good start. If you talk about disastrous start, has to be Rise and Exit right next to each other. And Knights now getting that compound for themselves, cracking that defense open of Rise. On the other hand, Eastern Stars as well, another team that I have my eyes locked on inside this game. But if you talk about teams having my eyes locked on, Na'Vi is another one of those teams that didn't really make it in the top 16, Jake, in week 3. And there is a lot of threat lingering on their head. Do you think they're going to be making it in the top 16 moving forward in the finals?
I think they could. I think that Na'Vi, they don't have to worry so much. It's more Eastern Stars, right? Kabahala, one of those star members of Eastern Stars themselves. But they've not looked so great. They're in 16th position coming on this Super Weekend, and I don't think we've seen enough out of Eastern Stars, because keep in mind it was crucially the fact that they missed out on that second Super Weekend, and they had an okay first weekend. It was that missing out that has put them so far behind. Now they are also feeling that pressure, and I think it's getting to Eastern Stars too, as we said, the mental state of these players having to come out, the do-or-die pressure, where they can't make the results happen because it's just too much to try change up your strategies now, to be more aggressive, be more passive, whatever you need to be, but they can't. They don't have the time to be able to perfect those kind of changes. There is going to be a third phase up over towards Pachinki and in towards Gatka Fields. Now, a tricky third phase, though. It is split in between the Ruin side, and I think that teams like Balut Chaptan, likes the footballers coming down from Everest side, it could be more favorable towards them because they had the most options. Central control inside these compounds, much more greater actually than that of Pachinki. I think that those down, like Aton, in towards Pachinki side, going to be much harder for them to be able to rotate because we are only in third phase, of course, and that could shift up anywhere else for Pachinki. Pachinki is not the center of play.
Now, A7 as well, all the way in the back. For A7, they will need to beat the timing here. If they're able to make it inside the zone in perfect timing, then maybe A7 will have a huge chance of making their mark inside the zone flawlessly. But on the other hand, Solke spotting this player out, and well, he's not going to be missing opportunities like those. Solke gets one kill, instantly confirms that A7 now handicapped. 3-man squad looking to inflict pain on Footballists. Footballists, on the other hand, looking pretty confident in this one. They have those two of the players on the Big Boy Mountain, but still, let's just find out how Revo is able to take care of them. He doesn't really have the exact info of where Lutz is, but still, I do like the presence of mind from the side of A7.
Yeah, Revo could also be that Overwatch on to, of course, Solke as well, but instead he will go back. He realizes, of course, it is a little bit too tricky, and helping out Cinetexa is going to be the wiser decision. Trying to make that 2v1 situation versus Solke, but it's always going to be difficult. They always now have, of course, that one less member versus, of course, Footballers. But Solke's going in regardless. And now A7, they've got all 3 players together. This could be a little bit of an overextension. It's only now the Footballers member is also joining in on the fight.
Oh, now Solke from the side of Footballers has got some heavy lifting to do. But instead, no, A7, they're just taking an exit from this one. They're like, all right, guys, peace. We are not really interested in fighting you anymore. They're going to be booking it inside the zone, which is the main priority. And of course, I respect that decision from the side of A7. But on the other hand, if you talk about heavy lifting, next Ruya, definitely that one last man alive. He's got a lot of heavy lifting to do, and the circle is shifting right on S2G. Woo! This might be another chicken dinner, baby.
Oh, it's looking very much like it. An airdrop there to boot. And S2G, they've got a compound. That's a crucial part. And they've got the roadside. That road splitting in the middle of that zone is going to make it so difficult for a lot of those northern side teams to make it out of that northern, more flat, open field side of the zone and into more of that hillside towards the south. So those actually are Pachinki, slightly saved. They have more freedom, you could say, to come onto this difficult zone, but for those coming out of ruins, it only gets more dire for them to actually find that position. It's about who makes it into that first initial position into that northern side. And Eastern Stars are going for it. It's very aggressive. You can see the vehicles being lit up. The Bazzi, Octavia, no problem for them. They will get inside of that northern zone safe for now. But are they just walking into the fire? Still, as we said, so open, and there's nowhere for them to really go.
Oh my god, Dr. Octavian's still alive in the game. I don't know how. He's on a sliver of health, and while they stop in the open, I don't know if that's a good decision, Eastern Stars. And this is exactly what I was saying. Just gifting over the kills to H2G. Easy clap for them. They shouldn't really have any struggle to show over here. But on the other hand, struggle definitely being shown from the side of Supermassive Blaze for the survival game inside this one. Keth, the only man alive, has quite a risky rotation to make, and he's going for it. He's sending it. He doesn't care. He does realize it's a do-or-die situation at this point. You might as well go and take your chances. Keth taking a lot of shots. Oh no, the car flips in the open. Keth is not left with any other option rather than to stop out in the open, and that's what exactly he does. Keth, though, still inside the zone, so he should be looking decent for now, but Eastern Stars are the ones being pinned and focused by a lot of teams.
I can see why Eastern Stars dropped there. Now, they can't go back up that hill because they know there are teams, and they know they can't cross that road because S2G are there too, but they needed to go a little bit further back in that tree line. I like they were trying to use the trees for cover, deploy out the smokes. They didn't manage that initial survival, but S2G, they have their number. Because no one can pressure S2G, they can keep up that pressure. They won't go anywhere. As Knights also, they have their own pressure though. Furious Gaming on the backside will strike away Alucard on the buggy, and that's going to be a crucial stop as the middleman falls. And now Furious Gaming putting in dual pressure with the help of Besiktas onto Xenox too.
Oh no, Alucard falls down. That's a huge knock, as you mentioned. In rotation, got caught off guard. Knights, now Xenox still there. As long as Xenox and Coops are alive from Knights, this duo can make a lot of things happen. Tommy gun from the side of Poppy Potro, trying to catch a little bit of bullets on the enemy, but no, it's going to be the answer instead, trying to spray away. Still no connections being found from his side. Spots Coops. Oh, he's out in the open, but still he wins that duel. Oh, that's quite a questionable way to go down there, Poppy Potro. He should not have lost that. Coops didn't really have a lot of movement, but he still somehow wins that involved just a little bit of sprinkle. Oh, that's what you call that Salt Bay move.
Oh, that's like the Salt Shaker in onto the wounds.
Oh, no.
As he just drives them over. A7, though. They got Salt in the hand. They're looking to take it onto Baluchak Town, drown him inside of it. Zelian Kid. He's looking into the window. Where you shoot him, man? You got to be able to turn around because A7, finally they find him, but it's a double big nade onto him. Is they just dropped one by one, easily handed over by Fernan. It's disrespect, rightfully so. A7, they got clapped.
Oh no, A7, as you mentioned, absolutely clapped. Slapped out the floor, and now Aton. Seems like the same thing's about to happen on them, and Xenox, as I mentioned, gets one. There's no second players arrive to get the rest, but still the second player falls down tonight. They don't really need to worry about anything for now. Milos is the man in the warehouse, but still, Milos should try and play things a little safe. He should not go for the res. Cardi trying to find a knock on the Knights. That can open a lot of things, and they can also go for the res under the fallen players, but instead, no, Knights. They have confirmed those kills, so now the hopes and dreams are looking like they're shattering of Aton. The only two left players alive, it's going to be Milos and Cardi inside that warehouse, and they're just being pinned. They need to leave the warehouse as soon as possible. But Knights is a team that is making their pathway much more tougher. Nade on the Coops from Kudur, if I'm not wrong, and that's a huge nade.
Knights for being pinned. They can't go anywhere.
Oh,
and
no,
neither can Next Warrior. Is they going to be both partied in by the extra members of Furious Gaming? The pink assault is Aton, still holding the compound over. Look to stop Xenox for the reload, just enough to allow Xenox time to bypass through into the zone. He's the only one left, and it's all the hopes down onto Xenox. Is also Furious Gaming. Big return back through reverse away. Besiktas inside of smoke, and I don't think Scream, he wanted that. He's screaming like a little girl right now as he goes back in onto the blue, but Besiktas, they'll slice him down anyways. They'll cut him against that blue side and take him out of the match.
I like how he just U-turned over there. He was like, psych, you thought I'm gonna go straight? No, he instantly just U-turned back to safety, but still didn't really save him anyways. So he falls down, and now Furious Gaming as well, not looking good inside the game. They have 2 points, but only left with one last man alive, so heavy lifting definitely right there. On the other hand, Anton Cardi still in the game. That's quite impressive, gotta say that for sure. Fenerbahce Falki as well in the clotheslines, and he will get taken care of. Anton is the man who's putting in a lot of pressure. Cardi is gonna be the one to take care of that man. Football is just inflicting pain, raining down death and destruction on the Besiktas. Besiktas on the move. They have the smoke wall to cover themselves, but still the bullets are not gonna be stopped with those smokes. They're penetrating straight through it, and Anton getting shot out from the compound. That's going to be Matt Bulls putting the final nail in the coffin, and now Besiktas on a charge against Footballist. Rom in the close. Lu's trying his best to provide the cover fire, and guess what? He's going to be doing so successfully. They're left with only one last man alive, and Rom turns around and slaps him.
It all went wrong for Besiktas. They tried to come down the hill, but it's the overpeak from Lovison. They found the double knock to help Aram, and it got obliterated the moment they tried to stop their vehicles in under the fight. Lin as well going to drop another member to the hands of Rip7 and S2G. What a position, but finally the zone, it is shifted away from that strength and up towards the north of the hills, and we're heading into the hay bales. The final couple phases here is down to our final 4 teams, and I think that it's all down to Footballists. Mad Bulls as Unicorns of Love. They'll lose out in the final member and will be reduced to our final 3.
Oh, S2G are just going to be the sweepers of this final zone now. They're able to find a kill on the Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love now completely taken out of the game. 7 knocked out. Still shouldn't really be that big of a deal. And as you talk about zones really favoring a team, it's Footballists, but still S2G able to make their mark inside. That's quite huge. Kelsey has bought the space for his team, so the rest of the players can always try and make it in, but Mad Bulls can be a little problem for them. Footballists, they still don't really need to worry about Footballists for now, but still, the Footballists even get a little bit of eyes on any one of these players that can turn the tables onto their side.
Yeah, personally, I think Leverson a little bit too close to that car. I think it should be blown up. I think the wheels at least should be popped. You can still shoot underneath it as Ram. You'll find, though, the shots onto Rip7, but in return for 1. I think Ram, he's done his job, though. It was so tricky for Ram to get inside of that zone, so at least taking him 1 out with him will help Leverson survive. As Mad Bulls, though, here's a squad. As they'll enter on into another flat zone, an extra team into the problem. I think the Footballists, they should have this one. S2G, I think, will be in next to Fallout. Kelsey, that zone, 1 more shift up north. That's all it's going to take. But Mad Bulls, it's up to them. Can they find the upset? Because they need, I think, more aggression. They're going to have to walk slowly into this. But if they can find that extra push, if they can solo out one of these members, the Footballists, Mad Bulls can easily win out.
Oh man, S2G left with only 2 players live in this game. They have the least man number inside these final 3 teams. Mad Bulls having all 4 players alive. This is their game. This can be their game if they just make any kind of rookie mistakes and then just hand over the victory to Footballist. Footballist as well, if you talk about that, seems like Rom's going to be back up on his feet, so that's really good news for Footballist. Getting that man advantage against Mad Bulls, that's quite huge. And Footballist, we do know in these final zones, they have all 4 of their players alive. They're capable of pulling the impossible.
I like this split, though, coming through from Mad Bulls. A very wide split. It's going to maximize the information they're gathering. I'm not sure how well, though, Agri will be facing, though, jumping up like a little bunny rabbit inside of fields. I think it makes it slightly too obvious, as well with the smoke positioning. As you can see with the vehicles. For Footballist, the extra advantage they have is they know that Mad Bulls, where they are in that position, because they ended in last. Footballist, they actually have the edge of surprise here when it comes to getting this zone, but a phase, it does shift back over to Mad Bulls. So and still, despite being known in their position, just stop Footballers to the wall of the entrance of phase 6. But it's up to Mad Bulls. Can they keep themselves alive? It's about surviving until the phase closes in, and that's still another 40 or so seconds away.
I feel like it's all about eagle eyes at this point. If you have an eagle eye, you can save your team by quite a lot. You need to spot these snakes in the ground, just proning around. And if you're able to do so perfectly, that means this is your game. H2G, things are looking quite tough for them, honestly. The only thing they can save them from right now is going to be luck. If these two teams decide to go against each other, just all guns blazing, that's when H2G can try and strike in. Unless, if H2G gets spotted first, I feel like that's going to be a GG for the side of H2G, so they need to try and play it out as passive as they can. Mad Bull, it seems like they exactly do know over H2G, but a little bit of aggressive smoke from the side of H2G to try and deny the vision of Mad Bulls. So at least buy a little bit more time to move, make it inside the zone. Football is doing the same thing, but instead they don't really need to use those zones. They just have those tall grasses to work for them.
Yeah, good move from Monkey back coming into Yin Yang, as he will be able to then equalize with a dual pressure, make it the help of the revive there. If obviously Yin Yang does go back on with a knock on the edge, that will help them equalize a 2-2 strength. Much better than the 4x1. They don't need the information, as we said, it's about survival. All Mad Bulls need to do is need to stop the push coming out from SG, stop the push coming out from Footballist, and let the blue zone do the work for them, because eventually Footballist, they have to step up. That zone will reach on top of them eventually, and it's heading that way.
Oh man, the wall of death is moving in. It's not going to stop for anyone else at this late in the game. And Timber, you need to make it inside the zone as quick as possible. The time's running out. You need to beat the timing. And if you talk about beating the timing, Mad Bulls are getting beat down by Footballist Lovezin. Oh my god, always a star player to rely on. He just makes so many insane things happen. And Kelsey taking down effects, that's huge. Now Footballist versus H2G. It's a 2-on-3 situation. Solke goes down. Oh, another star player from the side of Footballist. They need to try and get Solke back up, but still now Footballist. Lutz, it seems like he's leading the charge. But instead, no. The call has been made to try and hold their horses.
A massive nade coming in is a triple knock into the Quadra with the help of S2G. With Footballist, this could be their game. S2G still high on the kills, almost as equal. But I think Footballist, they got the position of the zone, they've got the extra members. But Kelsey and Timber are being baited out with a vehicle. They will slowly move further forward. The nade will miss, and I think now that could be with the extra.
That's a lawnmower.
That nade comes in. They sure struggle. Oh, it's coming, dude. They're waiting. That's one.
Oh no! Oh no! There we go. The opening frag, and that's looking quite delicious and scrumptious. And guess what? The lawnmower finally put down to sleep. But guess what? The player's position being revealed. Kelsey's taking a lot of damage. He cannot withstand it. He cannot take it anymore, but he still gets another one. How is this man able to flip the tables? But no! Finally gets taken down, and Kelsey. Oh my god, that got quite close. I'm not gonna lie. My heartbeat started pumping a little too fast there in the end. Oh, gotta say, man, what a show. In the end, even H2G made it quite close. They played that to perfection. As I mentioned, if they want to make it in the top 2 or either try and win this game, they will need to make Mad Bulls and Footballist fight. And that's what they exactly did. Aggressive smokes, perfectly placed smokes to try and deny the vision of the enemy teams. And in the end, those smokes were that saved their day.
Oh man, dude, I've got a tear in my eye, dude. I was waiting for S2G to take that steal.
My god.
A back-to-back overtake on that final position. We saw Rise do it in game 2. I thought S2G they could manage it in game 3. It came down to the 1v1. I mean, it was all off that vehicle. It was burned down, and he used actually the vehicle of Footballist to almost steal it from them. But it's still, keep in mind, a crucial extra knock, a crucial extra kill there that they were able to grab, and those extra points do matter, of course, taking away from Footballist, but you can't take away from that win. Still a big game for them, and I think it's Footballist who have been slowly but surely getting higher and higher in this leaderboard, and I think they've grown, as we said, through this competition. And coming into week 3, you can definitely see it. That week 2 high at the Super Weekend. Now week 3, we've already the first chicken dinner, and we'll go to the highlights to see exactly how they broke it down, but not before, of course, what is a disappointment out of XZ.
Yeah. XZ, Supermassive Blaze not really having the best start of their lives, and this push right here from Polo, please, you should have played that so safe. You had that door to work with. Instead, you could have just played behind that door, try and jiggle peek inside. and deal as much as little damage as possible. Just try and go for that chip damage, but instead, he just fully committed to that, which was quite a questionable move. And Xset, they are making a lot of rookie mistakes, and they need to stop doing so.
Yeah, I think as well, this third party was beautiful coming in through from Nice. They played it slow, they waited for next Warrior, they waited for the kills and the kill feed to appear through, and then they went for the assassination, they found it. And Knights as well, keep in mind, they had a big kill game coming through from them. Yes, they didn't make it in onto those final phases, but they were getting those kill points, which do matter overall, and that was crucial to also their success in this game. Teams like A7, though, I think coming from the very top position of that leaderboard from the second Super Weekend have struggled in these first 3 games, and you saw it as well. And it's about some of these teams just really cracking under that pressure, and Mad Bulls, of course, in that final 3, definitely one of them. A beautiful series of nades coming through from the 2 squads of them.
Oh man, I do understand Xset, you know, chasing that initial kill in the start. I do understand it was quite mouth-watering for them. It was like 1 free point from the side of Fenerbahce, but in the end, the revenge was taken.
Yeah, it was unfortunately their revenge, but talking about more of that game is going to be our analyst desk. We're going to hit you back with them.
Oh man, once again, another game with a very close ending. Honestly, there I wasn't quite sure who it was going to go to, but based off of that zone, Zute, I really thought that it was going to be Mad Bulls that had that in the bag.
Yeah, the zone favored Mad Bulls, but it just forced both teams that were left alive to go towards Mad Bulls to try and take that spot away from them. And you saw what happened to them. They just got hit from both fronts. Still a really good game for Mad Bulls, an even better one for Footballists. 27 points, SUG with 22 points. Knights looking super consistent. Was that 11 elims and 1 rank point out of the Knights? Well, we did guess that they would have the most amount of elims by the end of today. It's looking like they're going that way, Glitter.
Yeah, and as we're looking at the second page here, I mean, Xset struggling in this game. Eastern Star is also way down at the bottom, which if Xset can get it together, might be able to be something they can capitalize on. But our MVP for this round was Kelsey, and I mean, I feel like some of that had to come from all of those nades we saw coming out at the end there in those final moments. 3 elims, 787 damage for Kelsey. This is the SOG that we knew they could be. This is what we were hoping they would return to after they had like their experimental week, because this is the dominance we saw in that first week, and that's what we're hoping for, at least going into finals. We wanted to see that again.
And it looks like it's working out for them. They're now in that first place position once again. Knights right below them. Alpha 7, on the other hand, they really haven't been gaining that many points so far. Seems like, unfortunately, they just can't get too many points. Kind of curious how many points they started off with. I think it was 302. So yeah, 309. Unfortunately, they're finding themselves in a little bit of a stuck position. Still, of course, good being third overall.
Definitely. And take a look at Mad Bulls now in 16th place. With 131 Eastern Stars. They've only managed 5 points so far in 3 games. Definitely not looking good. Xset with 16. If Xset made the previous Super Weekends, this wouldn't be too bad, but they didn't, and you can see they have a huge mountain to climb. And I think it shows, like we were talking on, like while we were watching these games, we feel like Xset, that pressure, they're just letting it bear a little bit too much on them, and they're either being overly aggressive or overly passive, just because, you know, that's what pressure does. It doesn't let you, you know, really figure out that nice middle ground. It kind of makes you, you know, panic a little bit one way or the other. And the performances so far are kind of showing that.
It's kind of hard to come back once you start feeling that pressure on yourselves, but hopefully these guys figure it out shortly, of course. And now, again, reminder, you guys can be going on ahead and getting yourself some nice treasure, because it's the first stage of the treasure box right now, all the way until December 21st. I mean, look at those 3 items there. The pan. Glitter, all she talks about is the pan. That's all we want to take a look at. You can go on ahead and get it in the in-game center. Go and watch live on YouTube. Watch live in the in-game esports center or through our social media events and get those tokens. The second stage of the treasure box hunt will start next week, so stay tuned. It's starting on the 22nd, and a lot more surprises are of course yet to come. And there's another pan, more pans for everybody to go on ahead and grab for yourselves. But also, I have a question for you guys. Once again, pop the answer back there in the chat, because who has been the best snake of the tournament so far? Again, put your answers in that chat. Very good question for you guys to kind of ponder. I can see Zute's mind kind of running, but we're going to be tossing it on over to a break because we've officially completed 3 out of the 5 matches today. We have 2 more, and up next is, I think, all of our favorites. Up next is Sanhok, so we'll be right back shortly.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back to PMGC West League Super Weekend 3. We're about to be going on to Sanhok, y'all. This is, I think, our favorite map. We've talked about it multiple times before, just based off of what we know. Sanhok usually has the best chance to be pretty insane. Not necessarily the wild card, but a couple of teams usually step it up and are really aggressive and are able to get a lot of kills.
Yeah, so if you take a look at all the performance of the teams on Sanhok, one region, definitely comes out on top. You've heard it, numerous times. It's the Brazilian region. That aggressive playstyle that region's so known for really gets to shine through on Sanhok. And then, of course, on the opposite end, there's some teams that go for that super passive med strat strategy. Both work out pretty well. One gets you more placement points, the other gets you more elim points, and the placement point if you can come out on top.
That's usually the best balance. Yeah, going ahead, survive the longest and get the most kills. Sanhok definitely, I feel like, is a good mixture. Also, I usually feel like it's a good chance to get any amount of kills, honestly, since it's so much smaller and third-party opportunities are really there. I really feel like a lot of these teams should usually go out with at least a couple of kills underneath their belt, right, Glitter?
I mean, ideally, right? Especially I'm hoping that Sanhok becomes that map of the day where if the majority of those teams at the bottom are playing conservative 99% of the time, then maybe Sanhok is that 1% where they're willing to take a few more risks for the day so that they don't have to have so much pressure on that third and final day of the Super Weekend, because this really can be anybody's game, especially when we take into consideration the fact that A7 has been a lot slower today than they typically are. Black Dragons, they're not even here this entire Super Weekend. So there is still a tiny, tiny chance for those teams down there in the 16th place bubble to pick up some points.
And then there we go. The head-to-head I think we've kind of been waiting for as well. It looks like Kelsey grabbing that MVP this last match. And it's actually going to go head-to-head with Solkay. It's not the Sunday Solkay Sunday just yet, but he's still up there for the MVP. And also looks like teammates are going to be jumping up there for the most eliminations. Rom, Xenox, both with 5 each. Once again, we talked about how the Knights, not just Coops, the rest of his teammates also have been really performing.
Yeah, the Knights doing really well. S2G up there as well. That was 5 elims each, and then 4 for S2G, I believe. Looking really good. But, can they keep those elims going into the Sanhok match? Because this is, we talk about it again and again. It's where the elims really shine through, and the team that comes out on the top usually gets at least around 6 or more elims.
Oh man. Okay, well then I think we should just go ahead and go straight into who we think is going to do well in this match. Glitter, I'm just gonna throw it to you because you actually kind of already touched on it, you know? Alpha 7 haven't been performing the best. Black Dragon's not even inside of this super weekend. That only really leaves the one Brazilian team that I think is on all of our minds.
Obviously, it's going to be Rise, especially when you combine that with their performance on Miramar. I said I had also felt like Miramar was kind of starting to go the way of Brazil as well, and then Rise came up and really dominated on that map. And so, I mean, I know they had a slower third game, but this has to go their way, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, 3, 2, 1. We all already agree. Just like drop it
Yeah,
down
just
below
show
us.
it all,
Just
show it
like
all.
Glitter said it. We're all aboard the Rise train. Usually it would be Alpha 7. But Alpha 7 has had a super slow day, just getting crushed. And we saw in Game 1, getting crushed by Rise Esports. No, you know, so if anyone's going to take this one out of the Brazilian region, who usually does the best, I would have to go with Rise.
I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, all three of us went on ahead, chose Rise for very good reasons. Now we just gotta see if they uphold that, if they can actually go on ahead and achieve it. I feel like that's pretty great. Obviously, that's why we went on ahead and chose them. But any specifics that we should keep in mind as well that could potentially go against our pick here, Zute?
The only team that keeps sticking out in my mind, of course, is XZ, right? Like, they do a split drop north of Painan, right in between boot camp. So they start off very central on the map, and they can't do a med strat. They're split, so they don't have much loot to go off of. So they need to like really clamp down on their teamwork, their comms, their aggression, like almost everything at this point if they want a big game at Sanhok, because they're sandwiched between Alpha 7 and the Knights to start off. So I don't know, man. XZ, game after game, the door just gets, you know, a little bit closer and closer to being shut on their face.
Ooh. Not an ideal situation, but you're not wrong. I mean, you said the 12 points per match so far hasn't been upheld that way. It's still day one. They still could go on ahead and potentially turn around, have a big day. It's hard to be positive, but I mean, there's still odds, still chances for them to do something in these matches, even if it's going on ahead and, of course, interacting with the other teams inside of these matches as well. But, oh man, okay, we're about to be going on to Sanhok. We already said it's our favorite. Is there anything else that we need to touch upon before we jump it on in? I mean, Glitter, these hot drops I feel like aren't as prevalent inside of Sanhok. Is there anything in terms of that we need to be watching out for? Maybe even in terms of rotations as well, any patterns?
The only thing that I was thinking of that I know that we've talked about a lot in the past, it was that early game hot drop situation with S2G that we no longer have to worry about. Black Dragons isn't here to come in on that third party, and I believe it was Ghost that was dropping with them in the same spot. Both those teams aren't here playing, which gives S2G a very open, very uncontested early game. And they've had a really strong day so far, so that could spell disaster for some of these other teams if they're able to just take their time, really get looted up, and have a rotation that is that no one bothers them on. They could potentially be in the running for being a really strong team on this map as well then.
I feel like another one as well, actually. I'm actually going to bring this up with Zute because I feel like it's the Knights, because you even pointed it out this last match, getting the 11 kills. They were just absolutely kind of just destroying everything so far. And if Sanhok is that map where you get a lot of kills, could the Knights also kind of be a team that's up there?
Ooh, the Knights are just looking so good today. Like, I got a taste. We already talked about this, but I had a taste of it yesterday where Coops just literally won all the games in the PUBG Mobile, you know, holiday event, and they're bringing it just as strong. I don't even want to see them get a chicken dinner. I want to see them get just insane amount of elims. Like, that to me is a bigger, you know, sign of the Knights, you know, going full force than getting the chicken, because, I mean, we've seen them get chickens before, but the elims, they're looking so good at it right now. They're getting, last game they had 12 points, 11 of them from the form of elims. That's, a chicken dinner is 15 points. They picked up 11 of their points from elims alone. So if they could just do that all day, today, tomorrow, and the day after, and then, you know, close out games when they can close out games, which they usually always do, they're looking really strong coming into the finals.
Oh boy, some teams I feel like we also need to talk about though that need to be start start becoming even more strong? Is like, obviously the answer is we need to continue to look at those teams towards the bottom, but there's two I feel like they keep flipping back and forth, and that is actually Mad Bulls and Eastern Stars in that 16th and 17th place positions. I mean, Mad Bulls with the 131 points, Eastern Stars with 119. There is a bit of a gap there, around the 11-point gap, but they're the ones that keep kind of going back and forth around that line, that important line of the top 16.
I definitely agree. And if we look at the teams near the bottom, just their average, points gained per match, it is really low. That is why they're towards the bottom. And I feel like the team that's going to jump ahead, is going to be the team that just gets a lucky game. At this point, I think we could safely say they're not one of the higher skilled teams that can make things happen. That's why they're in the bottom, no offense to them. But with the RNG in this game, with zone shifts, left, right, center, it might actually come down to which team's a little bit luckier in these last 3 days that can make that top 16. Of course, skill is still involved, but I think a circle luck is what we're more so going to see that affects the top 16's position near the end of the week.
You're right, skill does still play into that. Have to, of course, defend the positions if the circle goes their direction. But you're right, I kind of agree with you, Tay. We'll just have to wait and see what becomes of it. And we're about to be seeing what's going to happen on Sanhok right now. So let's jump on into it.
Thank you very much, Spank Cargos, for heading up into the Rumble in the Jungle. Game number 4 of Sanhok, but also you at home don't have to worry about not getting rewards, because there's free as ever on the first stage of the treasure box hunt. It's going from November the 30th, and it's coming soon, December the 21st. That's all you got, and you can enter into that in-game center, guys, and use that PMGC token to redeem some rewards directly. And for getting that token, you can either get one of those 3 rewards: a PAM, beautiful parachute, or that beautiful golden suit. You can also get it from watching live on YouTube, or also in-game at the Esports Center through our social media events. Of course, don't forget, because the second stage of the tournament next week, Necro, next week, it's just 1 week away. There's going to be a box hunt where we will be able to have even more surprises yet to come for you guys. But surprises, that's what has been the name of the game in this third super weekend. And quite frankly, I think except talked about them being that surprise team not coming up short. Yeah. But I think, we talked about it on the analyst desk. Rise, they also surprised us being the better, for now, Southern American team. But, I think that we need to show them some love here, Necro. I think that A7, we need to vote for them. We need to say that A7 could win the game, because I think that A7... they're showing some good stuff when it comes onto this jungle.
Yeah, they're definitely showing some incredible stuff when it comes to down to this Sanhok map. And well, just to go against the analyst desk, each and every single person from the analyst desk is going towards Rise. So us, caster desk, is going to be going A7. Same variant pretty much from the same country, but just a different team. So we're going to be going with A7 against Rise, against the analyst desk, and let's just find out who is going to be the one to come out on top in this one. If both of us get this wrong, this is going to be a little embarrassing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's battle of the analysts versus casters, right? It's total warfare right now in this fourth game. It's if we can be better at predicting in the analyst. I mean, we're probably going to lose because they're pretty good at it. I mean, they've also got Plano Domish, right? So that's kind of like that's kind of like hacking in a way, We're just normal casters at the end of the day. We don't have that kind of effect.
It's like Conquerors versus Bronze players.
Exactly.
And
that is exactly
it's
what it's
and it's like, well, still the Bronze players are just taking a shot onto it, just hoping that maybe their luck would favor them.
Yeah.
But we can keep that thing aside for now. We did see Besiktas kind of spotting a couple of players out in the front. They tap away though. No connections being found. Another stalemate situation. Fenerbahce and Mad.
Mad, of course. He's just sitting up inside the rock. Fenerbahce going to be chilling. Going to be lounging his way outside the ocean. We'll be slightly further away from this zone. Of course, establishing his first phase zone 2. It has gone over towards all 3 islands, as obviously predicted most times on Sanhok. And we camp in the middle. A7 going to be standing there strong. We got good hopes from saying A7 are inside the center of zone, okay? We're in boot camp for now, but also when you come towards that zone, right, it's going to be more tricky. It's going to come down to that luck, as Zute said, about which way is that going to go. Is it going to go to which island? Main side of Sanhok? Is it going to go to that north, south, smaller island as Xset? They do look in some trouble, though. Knights looking, as I said, to put down another nail in the coffin of Xset and just put them into the dirt even more. Is a broken, and there's only two. They need to get Polo, they need to get Jay downstairs into the fight, but they're just too slow.
Oh man, Knights now quite close to Xset. Still, we do know the pressure's on Xset. J7, no! What's going on? Killswitch's Molotov sets J7 on fire, and now Killswitch as well. He finds the trade, but still, this is a complete throw, Jake.
It is a complete throw coming through here.
What am I watching, Jake? What am I watching?
I think J7 is a little bit too much to get a little bit too hasty coming through into the fire, as there also goes through Killswitch. A7 getting around that one away to get third parties from the backside of the South American representative we called. With J7, he's going to burn away. Killswitch will be the next. And Nice, they're going to claim both of these kills. And Jay, Polo, they're going to have to sit as that duo. It happened in that second game, but I don't think it's a duo. They've really got that many options, as we said. That zone is very unkind. But speaking of unkind, is this analyst desk versus caster prediction? We might have our answer settled in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. This is the analyst desk versus the casters. Let's find out who is right in this one. I mean, for now, it seems like casters are definitely in danger because Senatex is separated from the squad. Just roaming around, just lapping around, gathering some info, and definitely with that nade, info has been revealed. So Senatex is going to report quite a lot of things to the rest of the players. Revo's position is quite nice. I do like his position, separated out from the pack. He can definitely bring a surprising factor inside this fight. But no, Knights again. They're going against A7. Revo being found now. That's a huge knockout on the A7, and they're going to be sweating inside this one. But guess what? The counterpart strike in, and Mythic again now inflicting pain on the Knights.
We're going to take 3 fights at once. Is it even fighting Xset on the top of the hill? I think that Knights...
What is going on?
That might be a little bit extra. Too much for Rise, because you can see that they lost Mufasa down as well, and I think they're getting too eager in their position. Yes, Rise's position is great when it comes to fighting, but they do have to be careful. A7, of course, doing the exact same. Trying to stop these third parties from coming across that roadside. That is a blockade that they had to keep in front to stop that engage and that force push through coming through from Knights. Both of them will make the revive, and we reset the fight once again, but it's going to be a slow, drawn-out fight. As we said, coming in now, as Phase 1 does close away, it all comes down to that Phase 2 if we speed that up or not.
At this point in time, I'm pretty sure Rise has to know that A7 is probably the one camping that hill next to the boot camp, so maybe challenging a fight against A7 wouldn't really be that good of an option for Rise. And we did see them kind of trying to disengage in that one. A warning nade was being thrown. If you try and overstep over here, you will be taken care of. So A7 as well, not really overstepping themselves. We did see one man falling down from the side of A7. But is he back up? And yes, he is back up. So the fallen man is back up on his feet. Knights is the only team that has 2 points up till now in their pockets without any damage being dealt upon them. So they're looking pretty good up till now.
But they're on to Xset both. So I mean, Xset, they've only got 2 players remaining. I feel...
Look, Jake, look, I have given up. I have given up.
I haven't given up. I've not given up hope. I'm still, there's a world. It's a very small world out there, but it's somewhere in the universe of PUBG Mobile that Xset can make it into the top 16. I don't think it's going to happen in this Earth, though. This footballist, speaking of this Earth, is going to fall down into it. Lutz will make the revive potentially happen, but instead might just trade his life for it. It's been baited in between 2 squads. This is Massive Blaze. Nice. They both eye him up, but who's going to grab that kill? Because he is looking tasty. He does heal back up a little bit less delicious, but Kes still wants it anyways. He still wants that dessert for this evening's meal.
Oh, Lutz is definitely looking crispy, man. And Supermassive Blaze just want to bite onto Lutz. Are they going to get that scrumptious bite? That's the question. On the other hand, Rise now against S2G. These are 2 big teams going against each other. Kelsey now the only man in the close. S2G left with only 2 players alive still, and that's not really a good sign. But Timber's still in the game. We do know Timber and Kelsey are those 2-star players that can make a lot of things happen. Overall, S2G is just like a pack that is a really good team in general. Each and every single player can perform up to the mark. And I just like the brilliance that S2G shows.
SCG does show some brilliance, but it's going to have to be a miracle here for Kelsey to get out of this one. Right, so I think it's very bold. Them to take, of course, Mufasa on that hillside, still going so split. I think it's a dominance showing again from Rice, as we said, stepping up to be able to have that aggression at that high risk potential too of getting caught out as phase 2 will shift down towards the south side. So we're heading in to still a decision 50-50 between the ruined side southwest or still boot camp on the main island and around that quarry side. Still, when you're looking at this, so it's all of those bridges. Painan, that north bridge just above Painan, the bridge over Camp Charlie. These 3 choke points, these are the points actually that you're looking at about where teams are going to start to gather on. As Unicorns Aloft, also another one of these strong teams finding that extra kill. Number 2 in total is Blue Chaptan, struggling still in this third super weekend to get out of that elimination space. They too, keep in mind, need to get those points.
Oh,
so that would be a
that's
brilliant
a good
nail
one.
to one. That will secure the points that they're looking for. But can they confirm out Unicorns of Love even further? They've still got Fresh. They've still got a revive happening onto a third just outside of the fight. Is GK first. Lin stepping back in onto the fray.
Oh, Rolk is being shut down with that well-placed nade. And now Bullock only left with 2 players alive. I don't like Fernand's position. Please do not expose yourself, Fernand. If you do, you do not have anywhere to go. You're just going to be pinned on that bridge. Unless if you're going to be finding a free knock, then yeah, sure, you can go for it. But still, it's just going to reveal your position in the end of the day. And when you do so, you just don't have anywhere to go. You're just going to be pinned on that bridge. Fernand making a huge move, drops outside of the bridge and tries to close the distance between his teammate and himself. Goes for the safer option. And while I do like this option for sure, because Bullock, they do realize they're only left with 2 players and playing for the placement points, playing for the safe game is probably the best trade they can take out of this fight. On the other hand, Furious Gaming, they do realize Aton is in the front, but still, Furious Gaming just creating that mysterious aura.
Still though, Furious Gaming, they've not been revealed. I think Aton they don't realize. And Gali could be spotted out here. Still big mana. He will sit still. Is it all down to finding that surprise knock? Can he find it? Well, Nunes certainly will find Kelsey, and that'll be S2G confirmed out of the 4th game just like that. Inside of the 11-minute mark, and it might just be X-Set finding out next Warrior. That's a crucial point added to them as they'll take out Kudor 2. Is the 2 remaining, they will grab those extra points. There's only 1 confirmed though in total. As you do have to be careful. Still next Warrior 3 versus 2 situation. Furious Gaming, they make that push further forward, and Cardi, there's nowhere to run for him. He will be confirmed away. Pabi Potro though, not in return as Choco. Look at the flank size. Aton not quite done yet, and Aton, but with Milo's now out, that might be the ceiling. Coming through a big Milo. Just to push away Aton from this game.
Milo taking care of Milos now. Choco is there in the back. But how are they going to be able to get the rest back of the fallen players? That's the question, because Aton down 2 men. On the other hand, Furious Gaming they're just down 1 man. They're looking pretty strong. They've gotten the fallen man back up as well. So now Furious Gaming, they're looking quite confident. As you can clearly do see, they want to confirm the kill. Scream is quite close to the rock. He does know Cardi's trying to fall back. And he's getting pretty jealous of knowing that, so he does not want to make sure that Cardi's crawling back to safety. Chances are pretty minimal, but still, just in case if Cardi does make it back to safety, that's not going to be good news for Furious Gaming, because this just means that the man advantage will be equalized. So Aton, realizing the same fact that Cardi is pretty much a gone case, they decide to back away, and it's a pretty wise decision.
That zone, where's it going to go though? Phase 3, this is a decider. As it is going to head on towards Quarry, and then we're going to head it up in towards those hills of the more eastern side. And X-Set, a big eye onto them, of course, being the center of the attention of that 3rd phase. And we talked about that risk of them potentially getting those kills standing up. Stall is A7. They will definitely put down, though. Besiktas down 1. Make them look a little bit smaller as Mafioso confirms a way to 1 kill. And we hit the stalemate point, no. As Jay does step further up. He has that 1v1, but he just gets completely sidetracked by Mythic as he will just take the kill. I think Jay didn't even realize Mythic was there. Did he know that he was there?
It's just the presence of mind lacking from their side. I don't know what's going on with X-Set, man. It's really hard to judge. It's really hard to know what kind of mindset X-Set is in this late in the game. And definitely the games are running away, the times are slipping by. And to beat this kind of timing now, it's looking next to impossible. Furious Gaming, though, taking quite a lot of shots onto themselves. They did get inflicted by a heavy amount of damage, but still was able to make it out alive from that. Aton in the front, Furious Gaming having this dip to play with. They're looking quite good there. And it seems like they also do have a stellar positioning over here.
Still, though, Furious Gaming, I think, yes, as you say, right, they've got that positioning just south of Except. They've got that position over Quarry, which I think is crucial. A lot of these teams heading around Quarry side probably trying to look for that position onto the hills, just outside of Quarry itself, because that's where it's going to be trickiest to get to in the event of a shift there. Compared to that more western side of Paranana, slightly easier to get to, roaming downhill, past out of the forest, because you have those tree line to cover. But if you're coming in from that riverside, you don't have that luxury. And that's why you already see teams like Unicorns Love and, of course, as we said, Furious Gaming. These two squads, these are the ones that are actually looking the strongest. Yes, Supermassive Blaze, they may potentially have this extra position heading over into the compound to get in on to the Quarry side, but Unicorns Love, that hill is so perfect just to actually circumvent the fight, but still put a pressure onto the Supermassive Blaze from stopping them rotating onto this bridge. And as a result, Unicorns Love, they're able to potentially now gatekeep Supermassive Blaze in the next minute or so if they can get to that bridge first.
Oh man, talking about gatekeep, that's definitely going to be quite tough though. But again, yeah, as you mentioned, they can try and gatekeep Unicorns Love, but Unicorns Love just have a lot of free space to move around with. And that's what they're going to be doing. They're taking those safe chances, they're taking those safe routes. Realizing Supermassive Blaze in the front, they did create quite a lot of sound. So Supermassive Blaze's position being revealed, and I don't really like Supermassive Blaze's position yet, because the circle shifting away from them, the chances are looking quite high. So Supermassive Blaze, they will have to move eventually.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense that a lot of these teams, they're not quite sure where they want to go. A number of these squads have just taken up camp for now on the outer edge of this third phase, because we're still kind of deciding here in Echo where the zone is going to continue to shift. And in phase 4, that's when we're going to hit it through with a fight. So you can see, goes back over to Quarry. We said that these hills around Quarry side are going to be so important to be able to control. But is Fenerbahce going to move up? Yes, they should move up to that compound just above the actual Word Quarry itself, is that they will do, and confirm up that strong spot inside of the zone. But I think that now, for a team like Mad, as you can even see Eastern Stars roaming in behind them, now is a concern. Can Mad fight on Eastern Stars, which should be possible, but then also have the time to get into the zone further? Because we're looking at these outsider teams struggling to get in onto this zone, because of the nature, as we said, these hills, these trees, making it so difficult to approach these squads when they have the ridge to rotate back into for defense, when they have the high ground to shoot you down from.
Now, the problem here is that circle shifted away from A7 as well, so they've only to make it inside the zone, and Rise can be a huge problem. Their counterparts, their Brazilian counterparts, can be a huge problem for A7, and how are they going to be navigating inside the zone? A7 will need to try and bite some time off for sure, because if they do just make it inside the zone right now, they will have so many teams to take care of, including Bullock, Knights, and Supermassive Blaze that will try and make it inside the zone right next to them. So A7, I feel like at this point in time, they should try and avoid conflict if they do want to make their mark on that chicken dinner inside the game of Sanhok. But if you talk about conflicts, another conflict erupting. Knights going against Supermassive Blaze. One man falls down, it's Tron. But Coops having such a good positioning inside this fight. He can inflict a lot of damage onto Supermassive Blaze. Savian in the front lines. Savian is the man who has a lot of eyes and well, he will be caught as well. And guess what? Head being ripped off by Coops.
They had to go for that fight, though. Supermassive Blaze Knights, they can't play for time. That is not on their watch right now. They have to be able to move further forward in onto A7, because A7, they're taking all of that position away from Knights, away from Supermassive Blaze, whoever, regardless, comes out of this fight. As you can see, 150 meters away from that zone, and is edging in past the Mad Bulls as well. We talked about them fighting on the edge versus Eastern Stars. As Kapahala, Bazi, they'll eat the nade, eat a second, and that will knock them down. Bazi eating up the blue zone. I think it's a little bit too much, and there comes the third. It should be the extra decisive executor. It will go slightly wide. Bazi does heal back away, and now the problem, Monkey in a 1v1.
Oh man, Bazi, he does realize he's getting charged on. Monkey though, oh, it just doesn't really have the cover to work with. Bazi jiggling around that rock perfectly. Plays that position perfectly, and now Eastern Stars, they're looking decent, but still the blue zone's taking a lot of damage. Ozzy is trying his best to withstand, he's trying his best to tank it, but still, for how long is the question. Next, Ruya being in the center of the zone. They have the prime positioning with the compound right in the center. Next, Ruya, this might just be their game, but look at this A7 playing this to perfection. They can always try and hold off a team like Knight, but let's just find out. But the good part about Sanhok is that you can always go for those healing battles if things do go south. And guess what? A7 now just raining down death and destruction on the Knight. Alucard, the only man left alive inside this little car. And well, finally decides to pop out, and I feel like Alucard now exposed. Mafioso exactly knows where Alucard is. And he's probably going to be going for those nade plays. Is he? One more nade on the perfect placement. That means Knights will be taking out the game.
It goes wide, though. It goes over the top of their heads, and now Knights Alucard. They're so desperate, but what can they do to roam up this hill? It's so impossible to get up into the fight of Mafioso. He's holding them into account to the blue, and they'll be put down. Neutered by A7 is now, I think, Supermassive Blaze. They may be the next on the list, though, as they are not looking pretty inside of his zone. Neither Mad, still all of these teams outside, taking these fights, wasting time onto the fights that they didn't have the luxury to take. And yes, you get the kills, but you'll be the next out when it comes to placement points. Rise as well. That big shift hurting them is a 3-man strong wall of A7. Knocked away 2, and now it's only Mufasa as they're all struggling to stop against A7 in their strength, but they still have one more threat, and that's Next Warrior, as you said. Next Warrior with the compound, they've sat all game so far inside of that compound.
Oh, man. With that zone moving in as well, it seems like Rise is winning this game. The chances as well, they're fading away. Mufasa, the only man left alive inside the late game zone. As you mentioned, Next Ruya having such a good positioning inside as well. Nihath is the man who's still in. Just a little bit portion of that compound is still inside that little circle. A7, they're looking the strongest up till now. And Mufasa, as you mentioned, is the only man left alive. And there seems like their chances to get this chicken dinner as well, they're fading away. A7, guess what, Jake? Caster desk might just come out on top in this time.
Is that true? Is this the truth? If we defeated the analysts,
oh,
we finally won.
Man.
We might have finally got it. Here's here they come. 3-man though. This is risky. Mufasa could take them down, but a rocket protects now going on in. The name misses. And Mufasa is gone. He's dead and he's out of the game. It's A7. They're victorious. And the casters are victorious with it. It doesn't matter. A7, they can die now. We've won. We just won the game
we've won.
Chicken dinner.
We have
in
won
our pockets.
officially. Yup, we have won officially. The casters have come out on top. They have defeated the analysts. But hey, jokes aside, Next Ruya as well, as you mentioned, having quite a great positioning. Supermassive Blaze being held off. Tron taking out the game now. The guy in the front taking a lot of damage. Yikta trying to make it outside the zone, utilizing the smokes to just block off the enemy vision. But still, is that going to be a successful play? Nasty question. Fenerbahce in the back. No bomb. Oh, Revo, you need to watch out from Bomb, but with that nade, he also reveals his position. That's not a good play for Fenerbahce. Bomb's position now given away. Duke and Machine right on top of that buggy. He's just trying to gather as much as visual intel as possible. But A7 just having such a wide split inside the late game zone. That means they have also the majority of zone control. Next, Ruya will need to leave this compound. They need those smokes to play with. They will need those smoke walls to build up, and then only they can try and make it inside the next zone. If they don't have any smokes, they're going to be taking a lot of damage, and to tank it, it's going to be next to impossible.
The problem for Next Warrior is that Fenerbahce, they lie completely in the way that Next Warrior need to go to easily getting onto this zone. And Dolken Machine, as long as he survives Nox Bomb 2, Next Warrior, they're going to really struggle to get into this next phase 7. But Fenerbahce, don't count them out just yet, but maybe with that knock-on, beautiful shots out from Revo. We'll silence the flank for now, and only a Dolken Machine remaining as Revo steps up even further, looking towards the Next Warriors. They're split, they lose one, Yita down.
Oh man, here we go. Next Ruya, they're crumbling down one by the other, and Ball A7, it looks like they're looking to put the final nail in the coffin, and they have done it! They have done it! One last man alive from Fenerbahce, and so does the Casters. That might just win this one. And A7, they might just get the chicken dinner. Not might, they are going to get this one. Duke and Machine is the only man left alive, and well, guess what? He's also taking a lot of shots onto himself, and finally, the Winkle gets blown up, and so does Duke and Machine. Final man from Fenerbahce is outside the zone, going for that heal battle, and well, ladies and gentlemen, it's A7 who wins the game of Sanhok, and the Casters come victorious.
Mad Bulls, they survived third place. Keep in mind, don't forget the Mad Bulls. They were able to get that 10 position points. It takes one down, but it's only a pity knock. It's unfortunately a 7 analysts. We got the victory on the caster desk, boys and girls. We were able to predict the future. We got that bling bling. Let's go. We know that chicken dinner.
Just to spice things up, we went with A7 because the whole analyst desk went with Rise just to go with the counterparts. And well, in the end, who would have guessed? Well, it seems like the bronze players did come out on top. The luck did favor us this time, dude.
We got blessed by the Sanhok luck. That's what I'm telling you, man. We just struck lucky, but you only need to strike lucky once against the analyst desk. And now we are the conquerors. We are the conqueror rank, you know, bro.
Oh, man, we have taken over the ranks as well. We're just climbing up pretty quickly, man. I gotta say, I wish I could do that in the actual video game. But yeah, we can keep that aside. We can keep that aside. And I'm pretty sure, man, that game from A7, that's going to be boosting themselves up quite a lot. And as we do know, A7 is just always that, as soon as they're done looting boot camp, as quick as possible, they just try and go for that hill in front of that boot camp. And that play always helps them so much because that also gives them a lot of high ground. And if any other team tries to come over there, then that means they're just going to be racking up those free kills.
Oh man, I think if it really were A7, their position, the thing that won them that game was actually leaving the fight versus Nice, leaving the fight versus Massive Blade, going for that position point. That was the thing that got them that win. That was the thing that then gave them that hillside, and then the zone, it just had to come to them, and it did so just that. And I think Fenerbahce, they put out the good effort, and I think that Next Warrior too, the problem was that Next Warrior relied too heavily in that compound for the first 5 phases. Then it shifted away, they had nowhere to go as soon as A7 had that control, which I think should have been Next Warriors potentially, had they not so relied on that compound. And then Fenerbahce obviously coming in was just going to be difficult for them, full stop, because they were always chasing the end tail of that zone, right?
I mean, as I also said, Nextria was just burning through their utility so quickly, and they needed those smokes. Those smokes are really crucial. If they had those smokes going inside the late zone as well, they could have tried and build a smoke wall, make it inside the zone as safe as possible, and then maybe try and take down a team like A7. But still, A7, the way they played that was so perfect, right? They had the kind of most amount of zone covered. They had a wide split amongst themselves. And A7 in the end, they just left no chances for any other team, and they did realize that they have the most amount of men alive inside those final zones. And as soon as they did, we saw the charge coming through against Rise. And as soon as they got the charge successfully done, A7, I feel like the confidence was boosted right then and there.
Oh man, my ego is boosted, that's what I'm telling you. I have 100% fat ego right now. It's looking like, unfortunately though, for some of these teams, a little bit dire. Oh, okay,
dude, look, going with A7 was my idea, okay? I told you to go with A7. You need to give the credit to me.
So I
deserve it.
I need to give some, you know, points over to you. So I should be like the level below Conqueror rank. You should be like the level just higher. If you just be above me on the leaderboard, it'll be okay. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's completely fair enough, man. I'll take that. But Coop's position right there, what a beautiful positioning, man. Just had that position on top of the house, was making sure no one's going to be crossing over on the other side, and Supermassive Blaze were completely screwed. There was just no way they could do anything in that positioning, and Coops was just the man to put down so much pressure. He just played that spoil sport for Supermassive Blaze.
Yeah, I think the Supermassive Blaze struggling overall, and you look at some of these teams down at the bottom, including Eastern Stars, not just Xset, right? These bottom squads, they are struggling to that pressure, and you feel the pressure, the mental fortitude of these teams. It's getting weaker day by day, and they got to come back, even if it's not today, Saturday, Sunday, because they are running out of time to get those points. But I tell you what, we are on top with those points, and beat it, Analyst Desk. What do you have to say about that one?
Seems like Alpha 7 is upset that we went ahead and chose Rise, so they had to go on ahead and take matters into their own hands, go huge, just crash onto their last remaining member and took them out. Zute, that again, it seems like we doubted Alpha 7. They did not perform well the first couple of matches. This time, totally turning it around.
Yeah, like, it's a 50-50, right? Like, Brazil's gonna come out on top on Sanhok. It was gonna be either Rise or Alpha 7, so it's like, well, there you go. Alpha 7's on top, and I would just like to add real quick. I remember in the beginning of competitive, everybody complained about Sanhok. Everyone complained that's too much RNG. Like, you know, like it's not a competitive map. Well, the Brazilians could take the win on Sanhok so dominantly, constantly. Hey, there's something to be played and learned on this map from a competitive standpoint. And be like Brazil. Carrillo up here, 6 elims, 805 damage. And I already see some graphics coming down in a couple minutes. I'm not going to spoil it though, but dang, Alpha 7's looking good.
Well, first of all, we gotta go ahead and take a look at our overall rankings because these teams still trying to go ahead and climb these leaderboards in glitter. Unfortunately, we saw at the very beginning, Xset was taken out. They didn't gain any points this last match.
Yeah, they've definitely had a rough start to their super weekend here. I mean, they've got one more match to at least have a strong finish to the day and then see if they can reset it all tomorrow, but I guess maybe not surprisingly, I mean, the squads that they do have to beat out above them aren't putting them at too big of a disadvantage, but that's only taking into consideration if they can actually have a good performance. They've seriously put themselves on a back foot now, being almost an entire day down and not having the type of performance that we're looking for. But, you know, I going back to like the Brazil thing, we did say that it was going to be a Brazil team that came out on top on Sanhok. That's kind of now the pattern for Sanhok and for Miramar. But I remember when I got my first prediction right too. I was equally as enthusiastic. So shout out to the casters for finally nailing one down.
Nice, nice. I'd also like to point out really quickly, based on the overall, only 2 teams actually ended up moving at all. Everybody else otherwise just stayed. Mad Bulls climbed up another spot. They're now in 15th place. They actually overtook Pepper at Supermassive Blaze. So Mad Bulls slowly but surely climbing the leaderboard. But also gotta go ahead and tell you guys once again about the treasure you guys can pick up. We gotta tell you, get you in the know, because you do not want to miss this. At the first stage of the treasure box, you guys can get this sweet loot. Go on ahead, get a PMGC token by either 1, watching live on YouTube, 2, watch live in the esports center, or 3, through social media events. Make sure you just get those and redeem them directly. The second stage of the treasure box hunt will start next week, so please stay tuned because there's a lot more surprises and sweet gear yet to come. Okay, whew. Well, another match down, another question to go ahead and ask you guys once again. So put your answer in the chat, but how many hot drops will we see in the next match? This is the very last match of the first day of this last super weekend, so we gotta wait and see. It's on Erangel, and we'll be seeing it shortly. First, we're gonna jump into a break, then we'll be right back with the very last match of today.
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Satar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves. Got the PMGC out there. He looks clean. He's right over the top of the car.
I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself, Satar. But in comes another player to try and what for. And this time, oh, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back to PMGC West League. It's the very last match of our first day of the last super weekend. Big mouthful, but that's because it all comes down to this, at least just for the first day. You know, Zute, you keep talking about how you need to at least get that one big match on day 1, and then you're basically set for the rest of the week. So last time on Erangel, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting a little bit of craziness, right? Like we say everything that's gonna go wild. It's gonna happen on the last day. But just based on these past 4 matches, I'm noticing like teams just getting more and more comfortable in doing whatever it is they want to do because they know they're like really safe. So I think game by game it's gonna get a little bit more hectic, and this being the last game of the day, I feel like something wild is gonna happen here.
Something wild. Oh man, I can't even think of what it could be. I mean, the hot drops question might be some sort of a foreshadowing. We'll have to wait and see. But Glitter, you as well. Any comments on what could happen?
I mean, if you look at our winners so far for today, we're literally looking at squads that are at the top of our overall leaderboard. We've yet to have an underdog get a really important chicken dinner added into their point tally for today that will at least help them solidify a spot in that top 16. And there are a lot of squads that could really use those extra points right now. So I'm hoping that we close out the day with maybe one of our lower teams in the overall leaderboards pulling one out to have a strong finish.
You know, that is a good pattern to go ahead and point out. It really does seem all these teams now at this point want to play at their top performance. Okay. Well, Zute, you kind of already hinted at this, so I'm just going to toss this to you immediately. Alpha 7.
I mean, Alpha 7 looking good. I bet you if they could fit a 4th player on that graphic, we would have the full team of Alpha 7. I don't think we've seen this before. 3 players all from the same team in the most elims of a single match. Absolutely beautiful to see. Furthest traveled though, coming out of that last Sanhok. Wow, 10,000 in just one match on Sanhok? Dang. He must have traveled like the entirety of the map because Sanhok is a very small map and 10,000 meters traveled. Wow, okay, you go.
Eastern Stars were on a mission. Yeah, zoom in. They were on a mission trying to climb up into that 16th spot. They're just below that threshold, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they have to go ahead and recharge their 1+9 or 9 Pro, because with that flagship performance, that immersive 120Hz display and hypertouch technology, it's made specifically for gamers and is the best shot to climb those leaderboards. Again, that's a 1+9 and 9 Pro. But whew, okay. After all those graphics though, and since this is the last match, it makes me excited to go ahead and just move right in on to predictions. Who's going to be taking this last match? Glitter, you kind of already talked about it. I assume you're choosing one of those underdog teams.
Underdog time. Okay, listen. They've had a 3rd and a 4th. No. Yes, a 3rd to 4th place finish so far in Erangel. I thought I was wrong. No, that's correct. I'm going with Mad Bulls. They have been consistent all day. They haven't been super crazy, nothing flashy, but they've been getting those elim points. They've been trying to be consistent with their placements, and they are one of those squads that desperately needs all the points they can get, so I'm hoping they close out today with chicken dinner.
Okay, Zute, are you also going with that as well, or are you choosing someone else?
I like that prediction a lot, I'm not going to lie, but I am actually going to go with a completely different team. I'm going over with Fenerbahce. Simply because I took a second look at the, just that overall, they still have zero chickens. At this point, they've already played in 2 Super Weekends, so that's 30 games. We still got like quite a few more, so I'm really hoping they get at least 1 chicken before heading into the finals, because I mentioned it. Top 6 in the finals go into the PMGC, world stage. So that top 6 will most likely have at least 1 chicken, so this is time for Fenerbahce to see if they could get one or not before heading into the finals.
Gotta figure out the formula, gotta figure it out. I'm actually gonna go ahead and go with Knights, because we said that the winners so far of today are all those teams at the top. The Knights is missing from that number. So if we're gonna continue with the trend that's happening so far, I do think that it's gonna be the Knights that are gonna take it away. But oh man, it's so hard to not root for the underdogs as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what exactly happens on this Erangel match. I do think this last Erangel match, though, there was a little bit more interesting stuff that happened based off of our first one. We ended up seeing a little bit more interesting drops and rotations when it came to some of these teams.
One of the most interesting things that I saw was, Xset. They started off each Erangel pretty aggressive, and they managed to pick up 1 elim. The second Erangel, though, I would almost have to say it was a little bit more of the bad luck, right? They picked up another isolated player, chased them down, but Supermassive Blaze was just in the right position at the right time, took down 2 of Xset, and that just completely made that Xset, aggression just fumble and just not worth it. Polo ended up getting a knock onto Supermassive plays, and then it got stolen by Fenerbahce. So coming into this very last Erangel game, Xset, like their confidence, I feel like was already a little bit shaken just based on, you know, today's results so far and the amount of pressure. I'm curious to see how they end off the day, right? Are they going to just change their strategy completely, not play aggressive anymore, and just play more passive, which, you know, could not be a good thing, could be a good thing. But however they play this last match will be a good, you know, kind of indicator to see how they play the last 2 days. And to top it all off, since I'm on top of Xset, I feel like they need a chicken dinner this game, or you could safely just count them out of the running, even though there's 10 more games to be played after this last one today.
I mean, 19 points so far. You had said that they needed 12 points per game. If my math up here is correct right now, that they definitely have not been hitting that. So, I mean, I assume that everybody would agree with you there, Zute. They have to go on ahead and get a chicken dinner if they're even hoping to kind of pull it off at this point. But what still are the odds there, Glitter? I mean, that's still insane of a difference to make up.
I know. I do agree with Zute. If they don't do it now, it's going to be almost impossible for them to do it in the next 2 days. I mean, I feel like we can see them getting in their own heads because we've been talking about it as we watch the matches where there's just this much indecision, and that is what's throwing them off. You know, we've seen them in the past be very comfortable with their aggression, and I feel like they're scared to do that because they don't want to go out early and miss out on those points, but then not following what they're comfortable with has really kind of put them on the back foot. And then you combine that with a little bit of bad luck here and there, like you're saying, Zute, and right now it is just not the day that they needed to start with. The fact that they've got, you know, multiple double-digit placements with no elims to even cushion the lack of placement points is not cutting it.
Oh man, definitely the most prevalent example is what happened on Miramar. I don't disagree again with you, Glitter. We'll see. We're about to be jumping into our last match. We'll see if it's Xset that pulls it out or if it's going to be any of the other teams we mentioned. But jumping into the last match, once again, Highland Wolf and Necro.
PMGC West Side's the best side, Necro. We're heading into the final game of Erangel for the first Super Weekend day of Week 3. And I'm saying it right away, I believe I can fly and a unicorn's love can fly too. Because if you ever seen pink fluffy unicorns with their wings spread wide and they just fly on into Erangel with a parachute, it is a beautiful sight to see.
Hey man, I'm just gonna play mind games. I'm going to Rise in this one.
Ooh,
I'm going to the Rise in this one. Last time I went with A7, this time I'm going to the Rise. Fingers crossed, hopefully they're gonna win this game. But yeah, as you mentioned, and as the analyst desk also was mentioning, Xset is the team to watch out for. Now, this is their last chance pretty much. If they're not gonna be able to deliver in this game, that means the hopes and dreams are pretty much shattered to make it in the finals.
Yeah, Xset, it is. We said do or die at the start of our casting today in Game 3. Now it's really do or die. If they can't come out on this game with a chicken dinner, a bountiful amount of kills, they're pretty much out. I mean, Xset, they need to really, really, really step up when it comes into this day today, and it has not been the case. Now they have one last chance to redeem themselves, I believe, because there is a world, right, where we saw Xset that first day. If we talked about teams being consistent in this third week, stepping up, it was actually Xset in that second place. They were just behind Unicorns of Love when they played their 5 games in that first day of the week. And I think that if Xset, they can run back towards that success, if they can be that aggressive team, not be scared at this point, because they've got nothing to lose anyways. They're either going to win and get loads of points, or they're going to go out and either way not make it. Or they can just sit back and relax. And in that case, well, yes, don't make it into the top 16. But of course, that's not where we're going.
Exactly. Even I mentioned this, right? They're just cracking under a lot of pressure, and they need to realize this is a do or die moment. You either go home or you either do as the best as you can. And I feel like you should try and go for your similar standard gameplay as you like to play. And as you mentioned, they like to play really aggressive. They like to go for those early on engagements. And if they do this time as well, I feel like a little bit of more comfort level can be increased from the side of Exit. That can help them quite a lot to at least boost their confidence up. On the other hand, another team that I'm really going to be eyeing out for inside this game has to be Eastern Stars. Now, up till now, this team hasn't really been getting a lot of limelight on themselves, but maybe in the final game, they can pull off something miraculous.
Yeah, I think the Eastern Stars, another big one, as you say rightly so, has been, quite frankly, underperforming in this weekend so far. I think that there is a pressure on Eastern Stars. You can feel that coming through onto them. They're not performing as well as they were. I mean, this Eastern Stars squad were like top 5 week 1.
Yeah.
They were hitting up the points. They were doing just fine. They were just behind S2G. And after that first day of the Super Weekend, but they have declined in their prowess over the side of the tournament as it has gone on. And I think that's just because, obviously, teams have adapted. Teams have got used to each other. In Eastern Stars, I'm worried about that adaptation, right? Can they also change the way that they're playing now so late into a tournament? Because they haven't done that. And especially considering that they're maybe not as warmed up to each other. Considering they have, of course, missed out on that second Super Weekend. They've not got the luxury, as some of these squads have, of just hitting up all 3 and doing well, or doing average at that in all 3 and not having to do so well in one Super Weekend specifically.
But if you're talking about Mad Bulls, man, they have been stepping up to the mark, of course. I mean, I've seen this team doing so good today. Not really getting that chicken dinner, but still they have been up till like that top 4, top 5. Mad Bulls have been showing themselves up quite a lot in the first day of week 3. But let's just find out if they're going to be able to carry on the momentum inside this Erangel game as well. On the other hand, Footballists having quite a fantastic day as well. They have gotten themselves chicken dinner. Now they can also try and carry over the momentum shift inside this Erangel game. Because in the previous Erangel game, they were the one who got the chicken dinner. Maybe this time they can get it as well. Another one back-to-back. But as I mentioned, I'm really going to the Rise inside this game of Erangel. And hopefully Rise do get this. But as you talk about clashes early on, I feel like Unicorns of Love and Mad Bulls might just go against each other.
Yeah, of course, Mad Bulls are commonly here around this location. They have been here in the past, but we saw them actually just earlier this week start to get punished inside a quarry, and Mad Bulls really struggling to defend against their home spot. This is something that teams have started to potentially adapt to. Fresh, though, is taking the sneaky option of effect, trying to go for the flank side, but maybe is caught out here. Is setting Rolkers in. Is that secondary member? They will just find him. They don't even need him. Effect's going to go down, and that's 1-3 kill over towards the side of Unicorns. And you're talking about engagements. Okay, I just want to also mention a team like Alpha 7. Okay, yes, Alpha 7, they've got that big
Oh no, this is insult. This is no. Oh no. No, please.
No,
just put him out of his misery. Please don't do this.
They better not
I feel
punch.
bad for him. No, not the emotes. No.
Oh dear.
Please.
Oh,
this is humiliation. Just put him out of his misery. Effect is trying to crawl away. He does not want to watch these dances. Oh my God! Finally.
It's okay.
He's
turned into a cherry blossom.
No, cruel. Those are cruel bunch right there, dude. And Fresh getting that refreshing knock. That's going to be opening quite a lot of things up for Unicorns of Love. And now Fenerbahce as well. Exit going right against him. And what's going on, Exit? No, this is not how you challenge a fight. 2 players being taken out in the open. That's some wicked driving for sure, but still it doesn't really pan out for them.
They lost 3. It's down to only 1. That's all we've got left from Fenerbahce. Yes, it's Polo. He strikes down Duncan Machine, but he's got to go out with a 1v4. He's got kill switch. He's got J7 bleeding out. But how does he get up top? Polo, can he get another?
Oh.
Yes, he does. Nox Bomb's the only one surviving. Can he grab a third? Yes,
oh
he
my
can.
God!
Polo, he's saving his team. He's saving the hopes of North America and their dreams of Xset right now as Falky is on the opposite end of the fight. He's going straight over the kill switch for the revive.
Oh my God, Polo, the one-man army, saving the day for his team. He's like the hero. Oh my God, I'm pretty sure at this point in time, his team is just screaming, my hero, Polo. Thank you so much. Polo saving the day for Xset. This game is really important, barely hanging on their edge. And Xset still are alive inside this game. fresh down low over here inside this engagement, but still shouldn't really be a problem. The man has been taken care of, and Unicorn's Lover looking pretty good up till now. Mad Bulls down to a two-man squad. Same thing goes with Fenerbahce and Exet now. They're on the prowl. Killswitch trying to take the final man down, or not really the final, the second last man, Falky. But he finds himself behind this little ridge. That's going to be, he's going to be calling himself a little safe cover for now. But still, Falky's vehicle is almost about to blow up, so this is not really a safe cover. Falky, you need to move aside.
Yeah, he's going to put a smoke stand. He's going to grab out the buggy as well. He's going to put a little bit of protection now. Of course, that vehicle, as you said, is prone to blowing into his face. As Killswitch is going to go for the flank side, and they're hunting down this kill. As we said, they need to go for as many points as possible, and they need to go for risky plays like this. It isn't the safest of plays, yes. They could play it cleaner and let Fenerbahce live. But of course, they have to get every single point they can garner. Falky is going to roam straight into Killswitch's eye of line. It will not be enough, though. Killswitch might go down now instead as he's going into the blue. And I think that Exet, they might have got a little bit over-aggressive. He needs to heal. Yes, it's only going to be phase 1. He should have the time. His advantage should be enough. He'll wrap around, and Fenerbahce, though, they come out with some form of flank over at least one of these members. The Supermassive Blaze also in the fight. Versus Rise, and Rise coming out of the apartment side early, only to be potentially shut down here. Supermassive Blaze almost to 1 kill, but Trod's going to fall instead.
Oh, Polo just being the star player for Exit, saving the day, and now on the other hand, Supermassive Blaze, they're under a lot of pressure, and they might just crack open as well. Mythic trying to crack this defense open for sure, and he's going to be finding that beautiful knock. But no, instead it's Aton all the way from the back, third-partying this entire situation, gifting over the kills to Rise. And Rise now finding themselves a safe compound for now, and Aton helping Rise out in that fight. Rise are going to be having a little bit of smiles on their faces because the kills should be racked up by Rise.
Still, it's going to be a second phase zone shift as well. Keep in mind, we haven't talked about it yet, but that zone shift, it's going to be tough for some of these teams. Of course, a lot of them starting down from the south side to Exet. We talked about one of them. And as you can see, because of that high shift up towards the second phase, in towards that northern end of Erangel, we do see these fights between Rise, between Atom, both trying to escape out towards the edge of zone. Is also Fenerbahce. They take down one of Exet inside a small screen, and that's where we keep our eyes on here to Necro. As unfortunately, I think Exet, they are really struggling when it comes to this final day.
Yeah, they are definitely struggling, man. This final game, Exit, they're not really able to perform up till the mark. Polo is the only man trying to step up, but still he got shut down pretty quickly. And now Fenerbahce, they have to worry about another team, Eastern Stars, that are right in the front. He did get the initial knockdown on the Eastern Stars, but still, the threat is alive. And as long as the threat is alive, the man of Fenerbahce, he's going to be sweating. On the other hand, Rise don't really have to create up the position, but still Nunes able to open things up with that knock. That's quite a huge one. That's going to be giving them a lot of breathing space to work with. And now Aton being handicapped.
They will take down the extra kill. That should push Aton back. Eastern Stars, they also need to push, of course, into that one solo of Fenerbahce, but so do Rise in their vehicles as well. They can take advantage of that kill as Aton arc reversing backwards, but into the hands of Unicorns of Love. Keep in mind, GK first is on the opposite end of that hill onside Potato side. And Aton actually, keep in mind, being pushed south away from that zone. So it's all about Rise, just trying to stop Aton from moving further into a safer space.
Oh, Rise. Just trying to get this control, and they have gone so far. Managing to ship the team away in the front. And now Fenerbahce, the only man left alive is Falky. He has a lot of heavy lifting to do inside this game. Just going for that loot, just going for that extra bit of meds he can probably get and try to utilize to patch himself back up. But on the other hand, now Supermassive Blaze on the move. They do realize S2G in the front lines, they're one of those teams that they do not really want to fight against. Supermassive Blaze, they're not really looking that great in the positioning points as well. So maybe just to make sure, they're going to be going for those placement points with the final man alive. Still, the hopes are alive.
He takes one shot. He tried to go for the aggression, but realized he could have taken another. So he does step back in undercover. Silas Pugh also going to be there as the smoke road will come through, and you can see that a difficult position though for S2G. Yes, they've got the zone, but look at where they are. They're in the center of it. The center of attention at that is Kalse still getting shot up. They need to move outside of Roshockers, and all depends on, of course, where that third zone does shift, as it will shift back down south.
Rise!
into a school and departments. If, as you said, right, Rise, any team could take this game. This is a statement of a game for Rise. This is their comfort in around this area.
Look at Unicorn's love, though. They have so many teams to take care of. Fresh is separated out from the pack. GK first on the potato hill all by himself. He's going to be having a lot of pressure to deal with. We do see teams like Exit and Eastern Stars moving right close to Potato Hill, but still, it seems like Eastern Stars instead, they're going to be going for a little bit more safer route. On the other hand, Exit, though, they're going straight for it. They don't care. And I do realize that they finally realize it's pretty much a done deal, right? It's a do-or-die moment. But J7 being found, that's quite a precise shot. And GK first able to inflict pain now, and Exit left with only that one last man alive, the star player, Polo.
I feel like we're getting a little bit desperate though here, Necro, but it's making, I think, these positioning errors even more grievous than the previous match, and it just keeps happening again and again. Except they're trying to push these advantages, but they're not setting up a clear plan, and it may be something more internal in terms of teams' communication, because it feels like they're not playing as a squad that we know that Exit can be, and it's a disappointment here, as we said, coming into the final match, the first day of the Super Weekend, they can't step up. They should find a revive, yes, but it's going to slow them down. And time is something that they're going to find really difficult to bypass as an issue. Is Raiz also doesn't have to worry about that, though, because he'll just be putting himself out of the game. As Polo will be the second, and Xset eliminated in the 15th position. Hearts broken, I think, for Xset today.
Yeah, definitely. Hearts broken for sure. Eliminated on 15th position. We're only able to rack up 3 points. Not looking good. But still, man, I feel bad for Exit. The hopes and dreams are shattered. But still, again, if they're able to pop off tomorrow, if they're able to get like 3 chicken dinners tomorrow, maybe they can make it. Still, a little hope is alive. That, you know, that heartbeat is still going on, like barely though.
You? Is this what's happening from
the
fourth game?
Look, let's just be honest. Let's just be brutally honest over here. Exit are not going to make it. Like, I have given up on them, like, way before. But as soon as the third game started, I knew Exit isn't really able to perform until the mark. Especially that Miramar game I saw, I felt like Exit, all right, this is looking quite tough for them. But on the other hand now, Besiktas, charging against Furious Gaming, but Sun HP, no, overstepping a little bit. He will have to face the consequences, but still is safe for now.
Besiktas to do trade away one successfully. Crucial, actually, Sun HP did get across that wall. It means they can find a revive and they will find a reset. So a kill for 3 given over at the end of it all for Besiktas. This football is not so fortunate though, as Lutz will head in further onto the fight, but so are Unicorn's Love, deciphering their position, 2 in the center, 1 on either side. As it will look, I think, Unicorn's Love, rather than to fight, go in around towards that airdrop position. Just try to actually stop Footballist from entering in at a later point inside of the game. But the tricky part is you also got Aston on the flank side. You've got still Footballist stopping him from doing so with those shots. As A7 also doing the same, trying to cross outside of the blue. And they've only got 30 seconds to push on to the rest of Knights, but they can't do it. Carrillo's already down.
Oh, Carrillo taking down Xenox is going to be having a lot of confidence. Takes another one down. Oh, it seems like A7 are just getting shut down, but no! He gets taken down on top of the flames, and now A7 looking to take the final man down, and guess what? He gets caught vaulting outside the window, and he's not going to be spared. Revo puts the final nail in the coffin, and Knights being taken out. Even in the previous game on Sanhok, it was A1 to put Knights out of their misery, and again this time it's A7 to do that again. And on the other hand, nade coming in from the side of Eastern Stars. That was quite a good one, quite close. But another nade coming in just to reply back to Eastern Stars. Bazzi taking down quite low.
If this is ever a game, ever a series of points for Eastern Stars, this is practically it. It's handed into a silver platter, a broken A7 who barely find a revive onto center text, but they're not pushing. And they actually allowed a reset here through from A7, able to potentially capitalize off of this still against Eastern Stars. But a blue zone, that might just be the extra help that Eastern Stars require. As it will take with a help down on center text and the other 2 ticking slowly away, but can they confirm the kills before the blue zone does? That is a crucial part still here for Eastern Stars.
Oh man, I don't really like the hesitation being shown from the side of Eastern Stars, man. They need to aggress this one. And as long as they're able to close this fight out as quick as possible, they can also make their way back to safety, because the Wall of Death is dealing quite a lot of damage. It's taking out chunks from your HP. Bazzi being spotted. Revo realizes this is the right moment to strike. Bazzi is the only man left in the back. The rest of the players have made it in. And Bazi, oh no, he's not really looking good. Nade quite close. Revo still able to make it back to safety in the nick of time. It's going to be dodging that nade quite quickly. He's able to beat the timing on that, but on the other hand, Unicorns of Love realizing there is a team in the front. It's going to be a Rise.
He's going to die.
Yup. Oh, he's going to die. He's down in the zone. A free kill gifted over to A7.
Oh man, I just feel like these are the mistakes City's the starts can't make. They're trying to go too aggressive, extra kill. Whereas, yes, you're not as desperate, though, as Xset. You don't need these extra single points. You could actually be better off saving yourself with a full squad, and Bazi going down there completely unnecessary. Just gets completely juked by A7. And then gift over, of course, as you say, one extra kill over to them, and that's going to help them, even despite them being down as a solo, and probably being out shortly soon after.
Oh man, now Rise also just being the guardian angel of the zone. They're not going to let Eastern Stars cross over. One man gets taken down. The damage has been dealt. Another man put down. Octavian gets caught off guard in the rotation. Kapahala is the final hope alive for Eastern Stars. He's going to be able to make it back to safety, but let's just find out if he's going to be able to do so or not. Kapahala out of harm's way. But he's going to be running straight into Supermassive Blaze. But no, he stops his recoil out in the open. But over here, we have Baluk Shopton going against H2G. H2G, of course, having the prime positioning inside the fight. They can try and shut down Bullock.
Bullock, they are surviving barely against this blue. It had stopped just on the edge of the hill. They do have that slight over-peak potential, though, problem that S2G do have in their hands. They can, of course, step out a little bit further, and Baluk Shopton at nade will allow them to create more room, though. Can a second land on target?
Oh man, it seems like it's not going to be landing just on the mark, but still, the damage has been dealt. One man knocked out. H2G not looking that great. On the other hand, Bullock, they don't really have the man number to work with. But Unicorns love charging against Rise. That's a huge knock. Cheek at first, taken down quite low. Should be able to patch himself back up. Rolkis is there in the close to try and provide that backup. But instead, he's getting shot from the school apps, and he will be taken down. And guess what? It's Mad Bull, Agori, putting in a lot of work against Unicorns of Love. And he's kind of helping out the players of Rise.
Through the fences, one more bullet lands onto Rip 7. They can find it. The Unicorns of Love fall in distance, but so will S2G.
What?
2v4'd by Baluk Shopton as
2v4?
up against the blue zone 2. They'll snipe them away. And that zone has gone hard up towards the northern side. And Baluk Shopton now, they could potentially have a game on their hands here. As Next Warrior were centered around this zone, but it's gone so far away from them. They need to push into the edge of Besiktas, but Besiktas is such a great position. The only problem being that Asta also inside of his position, and they want some of that positional power. As Besiktas, they do set out the smokes. Enjoy stepping up a little bit too far forward, though. He's going to get shot back in return. Is now to push potentially there.
Honestly saying, next year will have to clear up the fields in the front if they do want to make it inside the zone. If they're not able to do so, I'm pretty sure Besiktas are just going to be a little pain for them. But still, Nextria can try and make anything happen with the position they have. They have the little comp to work with as long as the zone isn't really close enough to close. And maybe they can try and stay inside the comp and still take a lot of shots on Besiktas. Besiktas need to take care of even the front and even the back of Nextria, because Aton as well, they're putting in a lot of pressure. They're applying a lot of pressure on the Besiktas.
It's all about being out of fights right now. You don't want to be the team inside of the center, so everyone playing on the edge of these compounds still available to them all. As Besiktas, they did get a knock against them, but they heal back up, and Furious Gaming, I think Scream, as we said, not wanted to be inside the center, but there's no real choice here. This is going to be that solo, but double nade, right? As Next Warrior, they have potentially found their fight, but extra knockback might just save them. As he will be tickled down, the nade and the blue zone both covering onto now Besiktas. As Scream will fall, but I believe Besiktas should easily be dropping into that 5th position.
Yeah. Even Zessi didn't really seem healthy right there. He's looking quite unhealthy. On the other hand, same thing goes with Fernan. He's looking quite unhealthy as well. Zessi finally falls down. Man put out of his misery, and I'm pretty sure here the charge-in will come in right now. And yes, Frozen is the man who's leading the pack. And he finally jumps out of the vehicle, and he puts the final nail in the coffin. Him taken down, but also Frozen now, he will have to pay the price for being a little too aggressive. He exposed himself to Rise, and Rise are going to be capitalizing on that instantly.
Mythic's one solo man inside of the zone, and he's taking them all through is the help
he's
of
booking
Blue
the slot.
Chaptan. Cardi will be knocked, and as we say, all these third parties on the outer edge of the compounds at phase 5 now forcing their way into phase 6. Zaton goes too fast, being the first in, being punished as that first one on. And Baluk Chaptan, they are roaming in for the next series of kills.
Oh man, Mythic just booking the ticket inside the next zone. Just booking that place for that team. But again, Baluk Chaptan is one of those teams that they will really need to worry about. Rise do have the man advantage to work with. Gary's all the way in the back. He's going to be the one to make that quick late rotation inside the zone. Mythic doesn't have the best of the covers to work with, but still he's able to inflict a lot of pain on the front lines. And now Aton right on the right side. Bullock as well. They will need to take care of them. And as I mentioned, Mythic doesn't really have the best cover to work with, and this is what Nextria exactly realizes, and they will take down Mythic.
Baluk still alive. This is crucial for Baluk as well. 6 kills. That big 4v2. This is a team that needed those points. They're going to get them, though, in this game. And this could be the standing order here for Baluk Chaptan to be able to get themselves in a comfy position. Confidence up for the first game tomorrow evening as Next Royer still slowly heading their way onto the zone. Everyone playing the edges. Only Baluk, as we said, willing to be bad aggressive. The vehicle, of course, onto Atom was not enough bait. Baluk on the fire still will slow themselves down against the edge of the hill line. Not so much of a position, though, for Aton, as Next Royer will silence them away, and down to 1 for Aton.
Oh, Frozen just rips his head apart. Asta falls down out in the open. The rest is impossible. There's no way Aton are going to be able to get the rest back up. So Milos now will have to do the heavy lifting for sure. Frozen now is going to be booking the slot inside the next zone. Frozen is just going to be booking it, and he might just be taken out. The vehicle gets blown up, and so does Frozen. And now Rise, they're looking to take down Nextria. Nextria, they do have the smokes to work with, but Bullock as well, they're going to be having their eyes locked in onto Nextria. Look at this, they're just able to confirm these easy kills. Nihat is the man who's knocked out, and Yikta, the final man left alive, who's looking pretty healthy. And Bullock and Rise are the 2 teams who have the man advantage inside this final zone.
Rise, they enter in onto the zone first, and this could be their game, but they need to execute still more of Yikta. Yikta on the far ground. It will stop them. It's Baluk Chaptan, no fear. We'll look to try take away Rise, but still all 4 teams alive. None of them have dropped so far. Milos is still there for Aton. Yikta's still, as we say, there for Next Royer, but it's still Rise and Baluk as Nuna stepping over the hill. A nade goes in between them both. Will blow up the buggy. Fernan focused on Aton, but a Lion Kid, he needs to be able to defend this. Rise coming up over this hill. If Rise, they take this hill, it's over for Baluk. They lose out that power.
I'm telling you right now, Yikta's gonna be playing the spoiled sport. He's gonna take even 1 man down of Rise, and that's gonna be meaning quite a lot to Bullock. But finally, I do like the presence of mind shown from the side of Rise as well. They spot the man of Nextria, taking a lot of damage. He's not gonna be able to withstand it. There's no way. That's just way too much damage. And Rise finally blowing the final man away of Nextria. That's a huge knock. Ilian Kid still going for that res. Aton still alive in the game. Milos, he can try and hold this trigger. He can go for the trigger discipline play, but still, it's quite tempting to take the shots. Oh,
Aton down. Down to a final 2. Necro. Baluk for might have this. It's down to Nunes.
It might. It definitely might just have it, but still now it's a 1-on-1, and this is where the charge comes in through from the side of Nunes. And Vol now in the clotheslines. It's a 1-on-1. Nunes falls down. Now it's all down to Gary. We have seen him clutch these moments, and Rise. What's going on? Dude, I'm having the luck on my side today. I said Rise, and now Rise wins this. Oh, wow.
Ah, man. It's the effect, dude. We're transitioning it through. Wow. It's a Necrodomus effect. We got 2. We got 1 on the analyst desk. Now got 1 as well here in the caster desk. Double chicken dinners for Rise, though, today. They have been stepping up when it comes to the performance in this Super Weekend. And I think for Rise, now being, as we said, not only the little brother, but almost feel like they're the big brother. Not only of A7, but also of PMGC West. All of these teams have been completely smashing its lobby today.
Now, they're definitely proving quite parallel to A7, right? The way Rise have been playing up till now, they have been putting on an absolute show. I just like that aggression all the time from the side of Rise. They just never back out from any of these fights. And in the end, Rise coming out on top. I'm really happy for that team. As you mentioned, second win of the day. That's going to be meaning quite a lot. That means momentum shift on the other day, on the day two. That's going to be quite huge.
Yeah, I think that it was all down to that extra little push, as you said, in towards that center. And I like that Nunes, they found that flank. That was a crucial flank in amongst the edge of Papa Blue. With the help of Gary, of course, stepping up huge once again for his team. But I think huge wins, but also, as we always have to mention, big disappointments. It was beautiful through from Polo, but extra save, but it's still not enough to save Xset, I think, in today.
It's just that individual performance, right? And I feel like each and every single player from the side of Xset should perform as Polo did in that previous moment. And just one man stepping up isn't going to be helping your team quite a lot. But still, it did help them out quite decently, right? Imagine 3 kills being racked up by that individual player. Imagine if each and every single player wakes up from that team. They will have a statement to make, but the problem is Xset just seems lost.
Yeah, I think you can see it in the position, right? Exactly as we saw in Kill Switch in that replay, not even looking, just walking straight on into the building. And it's these sort of basic errors that should not be made in PMGC West, that are being made by Xset time and time again today. And of course, it's down to the pressure. We know that Xset can be this amazing team when I'm on top, but they have just not shown that. I think they have played almost below the level that is required of this tournament. And as such, they have clearly been punished for it early game after game, after game, after game.
And gotta say, man, Rise, they have fought their way to victory. They weren't really gifted the zone, but Mythic booking that slot inside the zone, that was such a crucial one. He did die for the cause, but hey, that cause in the end paid out quite huge for Rise. And Mythic, pretty much, I would say that was memorable play from the team of Rise.
Yeah, and I think actually as well, not only Rise, we also see the step up of, I think, Next Warrior, who have, yes, been gifted some of these zones, but you have to also keep in mind in Next Warrior, they've been also stepping up huge when it at least comes to positional points. Yeah, Baluk as well. And I think Baluk, crucial for teams like Next Warrior, crucial for teams like Baluk to be able to make that step up, because they're the ones in the danger, of getting knocked out, right? So, got to see if we can do it in tomorrow and Sunday, as we're going to head back onto the analyst desk to close this out.
Glad the casters were just talking about, because I feel like the two things that really did stand out to me were in fact that Rise won that match from barely holding on to any sort of land for themselves, and Blue Chopton getting second as a 2-man, taking out S2G and somehow surviving on the very northern side of that zone, Zute.
Yeah, Baluk showed up huge this last game. We always talk about momentum, right? The last game of the day, who could step up, who could close it out strong? Well, Rise won the match, but Baluk surprised me the most, and they're a team that's not in the top 16 yet, so this is even bigger for them. Now, taking a look at the second page, well, Xset. All right, so this is where I'm going to come in and say, I think Xset's story, their chapter is pretty much closed here, and we should start focusing on some of the other teams, namely Baluk, because they're in the 18th overall, and the MVP player, Fernan here, from Baluk, with 6 elims and 1,105 damage, Glitter.
Yeah, I mean, where was this performance all day? This is the type of intensity they needed to have from the get-go, especially when we're taking into consideration where they are in the standings, like you were just saying, Zute. I mean, they were one of the 2 teams starting off the day that weren't in triple digits yet. They need to continue chipping away at the squads above them, especially when Mad Bulls didn't do well in this last game, but they did decently throughout the day. Mad Bulls was increasing their lead over Baluk Chaptan, and then they have to start tackling, you know, Eastern Star, Supermassive Blaze, Atan, all the squads that are above them. We can see in the head-to-head here, we've got Fernan and Mythic with 1,100 damage to Mythic's 663. However, we did see in the highlight package that Mythic had some pretty filthy shots for himself, and Rise has just been a dominating force all day today. Regardless of whether or not they're getting those chicken dinners, every single time they have been aggressive. They've had tons of elim points, lots of damage, and it almost feels like this is like their practice, like they're setting themselves up for finals.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, that's exactly what we're saying that these games should be used for, is to kind of get used to or ready for the games going on into finals. Another thing I have to point out about Rise is I swear we see all 4 of their teammates up on these graphics at different times. Like, all of them. Nunez, of course, Garrix, just all of them somehow managed to be up here on top of these leaderboards, on top of these graphics, whenever they go on ahead and do well. So it's not necessarily, once again, that one person's doing well. I mean, Mythic, he's definitely their top player, but they're all still doing very well. And Zute, I heard the ooh noise, so just go on ahead, take a look at these overall for us.
Oh, that was actually Glitter, but I'll go ahead and take it. Yeah, that was actually Glitter. I guess my voice is, acting up a little bit maybe. But before we look at the bottom half of the scoreboard, that's where the most important thing is, I want to just note how close the top 6 are. I think this is one of the most competitive lobbies we have seen. Usually there's like first and second place usually has like a big gap onto third place, or the gap spreads out from third place and onwards. But literally from the top 6 all the way down, the points are really close. So I really love how competitive everything is. But on the Elim side of things, Glitter, wow. Mythic, man. Mythic, 70 Elims so far. That is on Super Weekend only too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I said we saw that highlight package that Mythic was absolutely tearing people up. He was doing a fantastic job. And then the fact that we see the unstoppable duo now in Coops and Xenox being the other 2 that are rounding out our top 3, 4 Elims is huge for the Knights moving forward. But we didn't get a chance to talk about that second page in the overall. A couple key points for us to pay attention to. 1, Black Dragons are not playing right now in this final Super Weekend, and they are starting to get knocked down. The likelihood of them getting knocked out entirely, very unlikely, but they are starting to fall down as Besiktas does jump above them. 2, Mad Bulls no longer outside of that top 16 bubble. They are now in, and that means Eastern Stars are out. So now Eastern Stars and Baluk Chaptan are going to be the ones trying to fight their way back into that top 16 for the rest of the Super Weekend, while the other squads just barely above them try to maintain their spot. But if we see performances out of Mad Bulls and Baluk Chaptan like we saw today, and Eastern Stars continues to be too quiet, then they might fall even farther than where they are currently.
So a couple of predictions that are going to lead us on into our next 2 days here, either of which we're going to have to see what's going to happen and what these teams are going to be able to pull off. But also, you guys can go on ahead and get something yourself as well. It is, of course, is the treasure box hunt. It already started and it ends on December 21st. You can go on ahead and enter the in-game center and use the PMGC token to redeem it. To get the token, you can watch live on YouTube, watch live in the in-game esports center, or through our social media events. The second stage will be starting next week. It also starts soon, so please stay tuned. It starts on the 22nd, and a lot more surprises are yet to come. Again, get those sweet, sweet pan skins, of course, being the most important things. Well, Glitter kind of went on ahead and gave her predictions for the rest of the Super Weekend. Zute, is there anything else that you want to add, or predictions for yourself coming into tomorrow?
I predict really exciting games, and I predict I'm going to enjoy watching them. That's as much as I'll go ahead and predict right now.
So as much. Okay. Well, it kind of is hard to kind of 100% determine what is going to happen, especially when it comes down to being towards the bottom of the overall leaderboard. Who's going to be at the bottom of the top 16? We'll be finding out more, of course, tomorrow, where we have 5 more games. So same place, same time. We will see you guys tomorrow for day 2 of this 3rd Super Weekend.
The battle tells our story. It's now or never. We pick our arms for the battle. It's time to hunt, and one thing I know, this is the moment to rise. Oh, I'm caught in the